Hello and welcome to Chinese Novel Audiobook. Explore our playlist for more captivating novels, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new audiobook. Now, let's dive into today's story. Chapter 81, Famous. As Luo Qing's voice fell, the little black dot floating in the air suddenly expanded to the size of 100 meters. A powerful and irresistible suction burst out of it. Had no time to react, the nearest hundreds of navies were attracted to it. Buildings, flowers, trees, creatures, sea water, ships, air and even light were all sucked into it, and there was no sound anymore. Huang Yuan didn't see things well. His face was extremely ugly, and he wanted to escape from the elements, but his heart sank. What is this trick? Why can even he who has been turned into a light sucked firmly and cannot escape? Only Luo Qing, who used this trick, is not affected by the suction, and can barely control this black hole that can absorb everything. Is there any stronger gravity in the universe than a black hole? Luo Qing does not know, but he only needs to know that even light will be pulled by the gravity of a black hole. Ah! Help me! What the asterisk is this? Except for the yellow ape relying on its own powerful strength, it is still flashing. The navy that came to surround Luo Qing, and everything visible to the naked eye around it, was uprooted and thrown into this almost endless black hole. And Luo Qing, who is temporarily stalemate with Huang Yuan, is not so relaxed. Although this is really realized with the fruit awakening ability given to him by the infinite gloves and his own reasonable brain, the energy required to maintain this black hole is simply shocking. If he hadn't chosen to absorb a devil fruit as an energy source just in case, he could only use his physical strength to perform this trick. Maybe it would not last for 3 seconds. Yataka mirror. It was the first time that Huang Yuan had encountered such a weird but restrained move. The sense of crisis that he could not break away from the restraints was hard to believe. Although he has used all his strength, his figure is still being pulled over little by little. During the stalemate, he hadn't tried to attack this black hole or even Luo Qing with a laser, but the moment his laser was shot, it was directly pumped in by the black hole's suction, and even a ripple was not aroused. Instead, he was pulled a few meters closer because of the distracted attack. And Luo Qing has also used all his strength to maintain 20 meters, 10 meters, 5 meters, 1 meter. Luo Qing finally saw an angry expression on Huang Yuan's face. Die. Luo Qing's right hand has begun to tremble. This is a signal that it has reached the limit. The energy of a whole devil fruit has kept the black hole running for less than 1 minute, which is incredible. But the results are also remarkable. The lower body of the yellow ape has entered the black hole. There will be no more than 3 or 5 seconds to kill an admiral. Luo Qing's face can't hide the excitement. But at this moment, Luo Qing's eyes condensed, and several familiar figures were shooting from a distance. It is Nami and others who have been pulled over by hiding safely but still have not resisted the suction. Glanced at the yellow ape who had been pulled into the black hole half of his body, and then silently calculated the flight speed of Nami and others. Luo Qing gritted his teeth and his eyes flashed hard. Blast! The suction of the black hole disappeared in an instant. Huang Yuan seized this moment of opportunity and moved forward, but before he could completely escape, the huge black hole contracted again into a small invisible black spot, and then exploded. Rumbling. The whole island is shaking violently. Then collapsed in this tremor. The huge tsunami is like the legendary Titan giant who stretched out his palm from the bottom of the sea and patted it all around. The surviving warships and human beings thrown under the gravity of the black hole all disappeared under the majesty of this nature. There was only a golden flash that seemed to be frightened and disappeared to the horizon in panic. After the entire island sank completely into the sea finally slowly returned to calm. Then I saw a white candle round table rising from under the sea. Puff! Luo Qing, who exhausted his last stamina to rescue Nami and others, vomited blood as soon as he surfaced. Although he can slightly control the black hole, he cannot control the big explosion after the black hole returns to its original point. Not to mention that in order to save Nami and others, he exhausted his last physical strength. At this time, he was already exhausted and on the verge of coma. There are Robin and Snowball who have fallen into a coma. Only Nami and Kirby are spitting out seawater in panic. What was that just now? I almost died without a burial place, it's terrible. Nami patted her towering chest in fear, and finally noticed Luo Qing, who was seriously injured and dying. How are you? How are you? Teacher. You can't die, first wake up. Robin and Snowball, and then hurry up. Leave, here, the other party may be possible at any time. Before he finished speaking, Luo Qing fainted, and Nami and Kirby were scared with tears in their eyes. But immediately Nami showed a firm look. It is her greatest duty as a navigator to take everyone to a safe place. What? 8 warships were wiped out. Huang Yuan was seriously injured and unconscious, www.mtlnovel.com, and lost 2 calves. The Warring States period had put down the phone worm in disbelief, leaning on a chair, and seemed to be 10 years old again. As one of the 3 most powerful generals in the Navy, Huang Yuan's serious injury is like a bolt from the blue. Even though the opponent is also unsure of life and death, from the perspective of the Warring States period, this plan is also a big loss. The secret of Faceless Luo Qing has not been discovered, but he has also compromised a supreme combat power. Now the new world should have a big shock. What's more helpless is that the movement this time is too great. A good Fengrun Island was completely wiped out on the chart. Not to mention, the tsunami caused by this war also swept the surrounding countries, causing extreme big loss. All of this must be borne by someone. Have you grown to this point? Is the Navy really doing something wrong? Marshal Warring States lost consciousness for a moment, and then cheered up again, and the envelopes of documents were quickly sent out. In the afternoon of the same day, the urgent news of the news agency spread out. Faceless Shira, Luo Qing was very sinful, destroying Fengrun Island, attacking warships, and being defeated by the Admiral Huang Yuan, who rushed to escape. He did not know his life or death. Bounty -350 million berry. Regardless of life or death. Newsletters are brought to all parts of the world by hardworking and petty news birds. White beard. Red hair. Ma. Very flat. This is the first time Luo Qing has truly entered the eyes of a big man in this era of navigation. Whether it is a blessing or a curse is still unknown. Chapter 82. Family. A few days later, on a small island near Fengrun Island, Luo Qing was enjoying the corrupt, harmonious life he dreamed of. Because of the previous battle with Huang Yuan, he was seriously injured, so after drifting to this island, he enjoyed the meticulous care of Nami and others. But it is not without unexpected gains, seeing and hearing the domineering and unexpectedly awakening the seeds, which can be regarded as saving him a natural devil fruit. Fortunately, there are still a few small bags of gold coins in the inner space of Luo Qing's infinite gloves for emergency use, otherwise Nami will return to her old career. Despite this, Nami, who lost her ship and treasure, also lost her smile in the past few days and is getting depressed. Girl, give me a smile. Ha ha. Luo Qing, who was covered in bandages, lowered his head and ate the turkey and vegetable porridge cooked by Xiao Shueqi and fed by Nami herself, and said helplessly. I said it a long time ago, it's safest to put me here, you must not listen. What responded to him was Nami's big hygienic eyes. To be honest, she also regrets a bit now. If all the treasures are placed in the space that Luo Qing can carry around, this kind of problem will certainly not arise. Of course, is not absolute. If Luo Qing is killed one day, it will be the same. But from the current point of view, it seems safer to put him there. Get well quickly, and then give me a 300 million berry IOU, have you heard it? Luo Qing almost sprayed the porridge in his mouth. Why did I fight? I am also a victim, okay. Who caused the last Big Bang? Quote. Luo Qing. Luo Qing is helpless, and he has such a small money fan, what can he say? Your relationship is really good. Then Robin walked in and said with a smile on his face. It's not good. X2. Nami and Luo Qing, whose faces flashed red, said in unison, and then each glared at each other. Robin smiled more ambiguously, but now is not the time to discuss such things. I think the captain should look at this. While talking, Robin used his ability to grow 2 hands on Luo Qing, who was still unable to move, and then helped him lift the latest newspaper that arrived. Luo Qing saw what Robin wanted him to see. Then he immediately said with disdain, the Navy always does this, demonizing the enemy and making itself sacred and justified. After eating my last trick, I don't believe it if there is nothing wrong with Huang Yuan's fart. Luo Qing was very confident. If Huang Yuan was not seriously injured, he would not escape immediately, but would wait there to bring Luo Qing back to the Navy headquarters. Coupled with the Navy's very familiar method of covering up the truth, made him sure that Huang Yuan's injuries were definitely not minor. As for the 350 million Bailey's reward, so. If the Navy dared to disclose Huang Yuan's injuries, he would definitely offer more than this reward. After Luo Qing finished his grievance, Robin and others were in a trance. It was really hard to imagine that their captain was actually someone who could beat Huang Ape to both ends. That is one of the 3 Navy generals representing the Navy's highest combat power. The yellow ape with the shining fruit is the strongest among the 3 generals who is the most difficult to get injured. Even if he wants to retreat from the enemy, there is no problem, but in the hands of their captain, they can't even want to escape. In the end, if it wasn't to save them, maybe Huang Yuan was really planted here. That is the big news that shocked the whole world. When I think of this, whether it is Robin who wants to seek refuge in historical text, or the little snowball who owns the 4 emperors as enemies, Luo Qing has a feeling of trust. They finally believe that their captain is not only talking big words, but really fulfilling every promise he made. Conquer the world, maybe more than just talk. Where are Kirby and Snowball? In Nami's reluctant feeding, Luo Qing finally finished the meal. Kirby went to practice on his own, and said that he wanted to share Balabara for his teacher. It seemed a little exciting. Little Snowball went to buy ingredients after cooking, saying that he would be back later. Luo Qing nodded. It seems that Kirby can become a strong player in the future for no reason, at least in the deepest part of his heart, he still desires to be strong. Being able to stand in front of the attack of the red dog and shout out what he thinks loudly. This kind of courage is not what ordinary people can do. It is no wonder that the red hair will save his life for this. Maybe many people hate Kirby because of his timidity and weakness. Even the original Luo Qing doesn't like this role. I don't understand why the old thief Oda still gives him so much drama. But maybe the old thief Oda just wants to show everyone that even the cowardly and weak can have real courage. Is like no matter how timid parents can stand up and fight the gangsters for the safety of their children, they may die because of this, but they can leave the hope of life to their children. Luo Qing suddenly looked forward to the day when Kirby was transformed. By the way, is the Chinese New Year coming soon? Chinese New Year. It's already December, and Yu reading www.yuakanshu.com has less than a month to be in 1519. Luo Qing doesn't remember whether there is any Chinese New Year in Pirate World, but it shouldn't be there, otherwise he can't have no impression at all. So he smiled and said, "In my hometown, every time the old year and the new year turn, the family will get together. Everyone has a reunion dinner together, makes dumplings together, watches Thesho together, drinks together, plays mahjong together." Luo Qing explained some interpretable things to Nami and Robin as much as possible. This kind of family happiness made them inevitably show their yearning, but what followed was lonely silence. Nami and Robin are the kind of people who have experienced all kinds of hardships after they were young, and have seen the darkness and pain of the world. This kind of family relationship is what they lack and yearn for. So, just as I am recovering from my injury, let's have a new year together. In this world, we all lack family members. It seems that the only ones who can comfort each other are each other. Luo Qing is slightly fascinated. Although his experience in the world of pirates is colorful, it is a place where he once dreamed of sex, but some things really only want to be cherished when they are lost. If he is given another chance to choose, maybe he will buy this infinite glove and come here. But maybe before coming here, he would go home to have a reunion dinner with his parents and say sorry to their 2 elders as a son. After a complex expression of silence, Nami and Robin nodded without knowing when. Family is such a distant and unfamiliar saying. But it's pretty good. Chapter 83, Pluto Drawings. Red. Bump. Get rich. Huh. 7 little ones. Give money. ... Luo Qing looked at Nami with a murderous and depressed face. Although he is not a master of the bird altar, it is not a request to bully a few novices who play mahjong for the first time. Speaking of it, his injury was almost healed 10 days ago, but in order for everyone to spend a stable new year together, so he chose to stay in this uncontested village for a little longer. For this day, Luo Qing also personally made a pair of mahjong, and took it out after everyone had eaten and drink. So there was the scene just now. It doesn't count, it doesn't count. One more. Nami lowered her head and glanced at her already empty money bag, and immediately scorned her. I think you are out of money. Oh, invincible is, how lonely. Kebi, who was in charge of serving the tea and handing water, immediately brightened his eyes and was eager to take over for Nami to serve. She was so beautiful that she rolled up her sleeves, and the money that came out of her hand really came out of the sun. At this time, Robin poured out half of the gold coins in his pocket with a smile on his face, and gave her, use mine first. Sister Robin is the best, Muma. Unlike someone, you know how to exploit the crew. Nami happily hugged Robin, gave a big scent on her face, and then triumphantly made a grimace at Luo Qing. Luo Qing curled his lips enviously. He had said that this welfare was still there, so he would not graciously let it go. It's a mistake, a mistake. Nami has money, so the battle begins again. Anyway, it's just getting dark, so there's no need to sleep in a hurry. Should we leave tomorrow? Asked casually a little snowball with a cigarette in his mouth. Well, I have already said hello to the village chief. I will borrow a fishing boat from the village to go to sea tomorrow morning. Fishing boat. Can it work? Xiao Shuecho was very suspicious. Fishing boats wandered at most near the sea. If you want to drive on the Great Route, it is really not that difficult. It is estimated that a big wave will be gone in the ghost weather. If it doesn't work, you can do it. Who makes this the best boat here? For this reason, Luo Qing also left the last of this family property to the village. Fortunately, we still have a genius voyage Miss Nami. I believe there should be no major problems. If it doesn't work, you can only see if you can grab a pirate ship along the way. Luo Qing thought in his heart. Nami immediately snorted when she heard the words, and then she saw her eyes rolled, and if nothing had happened, she said, "Oh, I'm in a bad mood, and I don't know if I will get sick tomorrow, if only I can eat 10,000 at this time." Up. Luo Qing's mouth twitched, then he glanced at the 3 10,000 sheets in his hand, closed his eyes and took one out and punched out. Ha ha. Ha. All. Give the money quickly. Nima. Luo Qing looked out for money with a miserable look, and Robin and Little Snowball, who watched the excitement, immediately snickered twice. This pirate group is really different. The city of Seven Waters is a famous shipbuilding sacred place on the Great Sea Route. According to legend, the battleship, Pluto, that can destroy an island with a single shot was made by the shipbuilders here 800 years ago. Even the boats of Roger One Piece and many big people's boats are from here. Luo Qing naturally also needs a good boat of his own, especially after the battle on Fengrun Island. The boat they borrowed has been buried in the sea. Therefore, after untold hardships and various tribulations, with the help of good-hearted people, Luo Qing and others came to this legendary island unharmed. My lord, then we will leave first. Well, you can leave after leaving the boat, how can it be worth a few dollars? Luo Qing was already mad. After a ship capsize, fortunately, he passed by a pirate ship that wanted to catch them and sell them as slaves, so the rest of the matter became a matter of course. The head worth 100 million bell and the tens of millions of treasures on the ship are now lying quietly inside his infinite glove. And such a pirate ship that is still intact is worth a little money. So the surviving pirates disappeared directly into the sight of Luo Qing and others. Just this little money is not enough to buy a better boat, right? The well-informed Robin reminded his captain as he began to use his abilities to inquire about information. Luo Qing didn't know that the kind of ship he wanted could not be won by tens of millions of Baileys. It might be enough without the appearance of the yellow ape, but it is a pity that all the treasures he has accumulated have sunk into the sea and nowhere salvage. But he knows who owns an invaluable thing. As long as he gets this chip, he may be surprised. The drawing of Hades. Or another warship against Pluto. Luo Qing doesn't care, he only needs to know that this drawing is something that the world government must obtain. www.mtlnovel.com. He has this confidence, when he really grows up, whether it is Pluto or the unknown king they can only crawl under his feet. So I'm sorry, Frankie the Iron Man. Let's go, find a place to settle down first. And when Luo Qing and his party appeared on this island, the secret intelligence department of the world government began to operate with high intensity. CP9 Lucky and others who have been lurking on this island for 4 years all received a secret order. Dot 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 dot. In a blink of an eye, 2 days later, Luo Qing has figured out the positions of some people with Robin's help. He won't forget the CP9 members who have been lurking on this island for a long time. If they dare to shoot Robin, then he doesn't mind to clean up these people first. So after a few words of exhortation, Luo Qing took advantage of the night to touch Frankie's home. Rather than being burnt down by Frankie this value-linked blueprint in the future, it would be better to let him use the waste in exchange for some much-needed supplies. After waiting for about an hour, Frankie, who didn't know where he went, returned to the room. Silence. Death silence. Before Frankie could react, he fell to the ground with black eyes and fainted. With Luo Qing's current strength and silent fruit sneak attack, there is no possibility of missed. Then Luo Qing began to search Frankie. He only remembered that the drawing was hidden in Frankie's body, but it was not clear where it was. But it doesn't matter, the long night is long, and the fruit of silence prevents accidents, he can search slowly and find it slowly. Chapter 84, Overnight in Robin's room. About an hour later, Luo Qing almost opened all the altered parts of Frankie's body, and finally found the drawing that was suspected of being Pluto. When he got something, Luo Qing no longer hesitated, turned and disappeared into the night. After a while, there was an angry voice in Frank's home, and there was a commotion. After returning to the hotel, Luo Qing knocked on Robin's door. It's so late, the captain didn't knock on Xiao Nami's door, but came to me for what he wanted to do. Looking at Robin in a black silk pajamas, Luo Qing used a lot of perseverance to move his eyes away from the beautiful scenery. Hee, naturally something is going on, don't you invite me in. Robin's beautiful eyebrows were raised, and he didn't know what he thought of putting him into his room in this ambiguous atmosphere. It seems that the captain went out this time and gained a lot. So obvious. Luo Qing touched his face, then couldn't help but laugh. Look at this. If you don't talk about business anymore, Luo Qing is really afraid that he will never remember to talk again, so he decisively took out the drawing and handed it to Robin. This is. Maybe it is the drawing of Pluto, maybe it is not, you can see it. As soon as the word Pluto was mentioned, Robin's expression immediately became extremely serious. After taking a deep look at Luo Qing, he slowly opened the drawing. Whether the drawing that Frankie had hidden on the earth was divided into 2 factions. Luo Qing was not sure before he got it, but after looking around randomly, he found the text on the drawing. Actually, just like the historical text, it uses ancient characters. If it was just another warship made by later generations to fight against Pluto, it wouldn't be written in ancient characters, right? Because of this, Luo Qing feels that the probability that this drawing is indeed Pluto has reached more than 80%, and Robin has to prove the remaining 20%. I saw it for more than an hour, and when Robin recovered from the shock, his pretty face immediately blushed. Is it impolite to just look at other people's things? Captain. Bored and idle, Luo Qing was sitting on Robin's bed and pulling a small black inner to verify the elasticity of Luo Qing suddenly embarrassed. Misunderstanding. I'm just curious about how such a small amount of fabric can achieve such good elasticity. Hee. How is it? Isn't it the drawing of Hades? Luo Qing then threw the deformed Xiaonane back onto the bed, and then sat down opposite Robin again. Before answering this question, I want to ask the captain a question. If this drawing is really Pluto's drawing, what are you going to do? Don't worry, I know what you are worried about, but I really have no interest in ancient weapons. I don't need to use this question to test me anymore. Robin stared straight at Luo Qing's eyes, as if he wanted to see what he wanted in his eyes. But Luo Qing was open-minded. He was not afraid to look at her, but instead seemed to be afraid that she could not see clearly, so he moved his entire face together. When the tips of their noses accidentally touched each other, Robin woke up suddenly and then gave him an annoyed look. According to the translation, this drawing should be Pluto's design drawing. Why did he find it out since the captain is not interested in it? Aren't we short of money? This thing will definitely sell for a good price. Robin's eyes widened immediately, and countless people broke the design of ancient weapons in their heads. This product actually wanted to sell it. No. Such dangerous things must never be spread. Robin could not sit still, looking at Luo Qing with a serious face, as if as long as he disagreed, she would betray him again and immediately destroy it. This is a matter of principle. Look at making you nervous. First listen to me, can't you? When did I do something that disappointed you? Even the historical text of the road sign for you to translate, I never urged it. Luo Qing knows how vigilant Robin is, so he is willing to pay some trust and sincerity first, even if Robin has not given him the translated content, he is not in a hurry. Because he knew that one day, Robin would come to him with a complete translation. That day is when the two truly build a bridge of trust. Just Robin is too sensitive, if he really wants to go his own way, he will not come to her. Maybe he found his gaffe, or he felt Luo Qing's sincerity. Robin sat back again, but still clung to the design drawing. I mean, on the basis of the prototype of this design drawing, let's do a secondary process for it. Secondary processing. Yes. Anyway, there are not many people who understand ancient characters, and even fewer people have seen the real Pluto drawings. Let's get a half-truth, modify the important parameters completely, and then sell it. Never mind. Robin frowned slightly. If that was the case, she could accept it. Who is the captain going to sell to? Don't worry about this, www.mtlnovel.com. I have already thought of a few options for taking advantage of it. As long as you can't see the flaws in this fake drawing, I will definitely squeeze out the other's bones. Robin thought for a while and nodded. I need some time. Don't worry, you prepare slowly, and this Pluto drawing will be released to you. If you have time, you can get a few more copies. Anyway, there are so many people who are being taken advantage of. No one stipulates that we can only sell it once, right? At this moment, Luo Qing's profiteer genes are exposed. Even Robin looked at his captain who had fallen into the eyes of the money and speechlessness. But how to modify it so that the other party can neither see the flaws nor make the genuine product is really a technical job, she needs to study it carefully. On the contrary, Luo Qing's trust in her once again turned into a sledgehammer hitting the heavy protective shell inside her. Unknowingly, several cracks have appeared on the hard protective shell. Then she remembered the scene where someone was sitting on her bed and pulling her private items vigorously. It's getting so late, shouldn't the captain go back to the room? Oh, it seems that I forgot to bring the room key. This way. Robin put his arm on the table and supported his chin with the back of his hand, and glanced at him with a smile. The deep groove that was accidentally squeezed out revealed the charm of a mature woman. The captain will rest here today. Really? This unexpected joy came so suddenly that Luo Qing felt that today must be his lucky day. However, a few minutes later, he watched as Sister Robin walked into Nami's room with a bedding and pillow. Chapter 85. Doc 1. When Luo Qing walked out of Robin's room the next day with a grimace on his face, what he saw was Robin's nonchalant appearance and the contemptuous eyes of Nami and Xiao Xuecho. If the teacher doesn't bring the room key, you can go and ask for a spare. Otherwise, my disciple can also give the room to the teacher. How can the teacher go? Was glared fiercely by Luo Qing with flushing eyes. Kirby immediately left with his head on his shoulders and walked away gleefully. Let's eat first, we will go out after dinner. Luo Qing sat down with a depressed look. I won't go, it was not so easy for the captain to ask me last night. Luo Qing thought for a while and shook his head. Don't be in a hurry, let's go together. He was afraid that CP9 lurking on this island would take Robin away while he was away, so he had to guard against it. Robin stopped talking when he saw his insistence, only Nami and Little Snowball continued to look at him with contempt. After eating, Luo Qing took the women and children out to go shopping generously, as if he was afraid that some ulterior motives would not know that he was here. It's just that although the route of their group seems random, the destination is very clear. Dock number 1 in the city of Seven Waters. Only when I actually see it, I know how hot the scene is. There are no less than 1,000 boaters on dock number 1 who are doing their work in an orderly but hurried manner. Just when Luo Qing and the others were about to go in and take a look, a person who seemed to be in charge stopped them. The front is a place where outsiders are not allowed to enter. If you have any business, please let me know. If you are just curious and want to go in and visit, you can go to the number 6 dock that is open to the public. The person in charge who stopped them obviously met a lot of curious tourists, so he was very skilled in explaining. Luo Qing groaned for a while and said, I want to find a boatman named Kiran John. I don't know which dock he is in. This Kiran John was the name given to him by the old John when he left the East China Sea, and he said that he could get a 5% discount. Luo Qing didn't come to this insignificant discount, but was unfamiliar in life. It is also convenient to have an acquaintance. Do you know G. Kiran Master? As soon as the person heard the name, he looked at them and the group with a weird face, and his eyes were extremely unpleasant. Luo Qing wanted to hit someone. Since I can call this name, I know it naturally, so if you have enough of it. Luo Qing was somewhat annoyed, and the man immediately apologized. Sorry, since you know Kiran great worker, then follow me in. I will take you to find him, but don't disturb other people's work. Luo's green complexion slightly warmed up and reluctantly nodded. It seems that old John's nephew has a lot of status here. Those who can be called great workers are guys with 2 brushes in the industry. Under the leadership of Guanxi, Luo Qing and several people entered the interior of No. 1 dock. While opening his eyes, he also noticed 2 people. This is where Foreman Lu Qi is in charge. Hurry up and go, he doesn't like outsiders to disturb him the most. Luo Qing's eyes flashed, then turned and left. And just when Luo Qing and the others turned and left, they were bare-chested and were working hard, and Rob Lucci, who really put himself in the role of a boatman, also raised his head. The target has been confirmed, send the message to the superior. Kaku who worked hard and nodded without a trace, and then disappeared into Dock 1. At this moment, he is not the top 5 foreman of Dock 1, but he is coming soon. This is the place where Kellen Degong built the ship. I'll tell him. You can wait here. It was old John's friend who came to him for help. Then Luo Qing saw that he walked to a brawny man with a shirtless upper body and crystal clear sweat on his strong muscles and said a few words. The man dropped the tools in his hand and walked towards them. Do you know Uncle John? The magnetic male voice makes people feel goosebumps. Luo Qing, who has absolute confidence in his appearance, can't help but smack his masculinity at the moment. Thousands of tempered muscles, a handsome face with sharp edges and corners, plus the magnetic voice of the male voice. Ahem. You are John Kiran, old John's nephew. How come it looks nothing like old John? Luo Qing couldn't help but vomit. I am not Uncle John's son, so naturally I won't look too much, and I went out to study art when I was very young. Uncle John's voice and features have long been remembered. In addition, I have already given up John's surname. Now I am Zhang Jilin Lin. You can call me Jilin or Zhang Lin. Speaking of this product is actually a bit sad. Ah, I see. In fact, old John is pretty good now. He has his own chamber of commerce. There is no way. Luo Qing had to choose something to tell him. www.mtlnovel.com. Uncle John and I occasionally have correspondence. I don't need to talk about these trivial matters anymore. I know your intentions, so let's talk about it in detail. Quote. You can hardly imagine such a muscular hunk who speaks with a gentle and polite manner. Although Luo Qing thinks he has seen a lot of weird people, he still feels very uncomfortable and doesn't know why. After followed Kiran to his lounge, he heard him yell softly to the back room, Green Date, there are guests, come to tea. Then Luo Qing and others saw a beautiful and shy young woman walking out of the house and getting busy. Is the chest as flat? I am sorry for a. After commenting in his heart, Luo Qing almost gave himself a mouth. It seems that he is still holding back for a long time. Should I ask Nami or help? Luo Qing did not become innocent, but pursued a higher level. He only thought about how to become stronger along the way. It's not a rich second-generation rice bug who only knows about eating and waiting for death on the earth. Furthermore, his vision has also become higher. If Nami and Robin are not going to attack, should they be hungry? Say that there is no such thing as Ashtart in 3 years, the highest death penalty, in this world, and it seems that a certain Snowball is a few years older than him. Legal lowly, do you want to try it? Just when Luo Qing was thinking about it, the tea was made and served. Please use tea. What a sweet voice, this tea tastes good, I didn't expect that a rough guy could marry Mei Jiao Niang, which is really enviable. Luo Qing started to inquire about some things after tasting the tea. Even if he wanted to dig money, he had to know at least how much money could fill this hole. After listening to Luo Qing's request, Kiran frowned. Chapter 86. Door Fruit. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. There are only a few of you on the boat. If this is the case, it is difficult for you to move the big boat. After all, you need to be fast, and require strength, and you want to carry enough firepower. Kiran almost said that he thinks too much. Luo Qing also knows that he is a pure layman in this respect, but since he is a customer, he should naturally speak out all the needs in his heart, and what is this? The science and technology tree is completely crooked in the pirate world. Things that cannot be done on Earth are not completely impossible here. I heard that Baoshu atom is the best material for shipbuilding. With it, it should be able to fulfill some of my requirements, right? Treasure tree atom. Kiran gave him a surprised look, and then continued, it should be possible, but the smallest branch that the treasure tree atom can use to build ships is more than 200 million bell, plus the cost of shipbuilding. I am afraid that there is no 6 or 7,100 million is impossible. His subtext is that you have so much money. Even with so much money, can you get the branches of the treasure tree atom? Luo Qing knew that in the future, Frankie saved money and bought the treasure tree atom, and the Sunny was built with it, but there is still a year before Luffy went to sea. At this stage, did Frankie get the treasure tree atom? Not necessarily. But as long as you have Pluto's design drawings in hand, this is not a problem. In this way, I will find a way for Baoshu atom and the necessary funds. These days, I will trouble the Kirin foreman to make preparations and design the drawings. This is okay, because of Uncle John's face, I can give you a 5% discount at that time. Quote. Thank you so much. Sure enough, old John's face is worth this, and it is better than nothing. When he parted, Luo Qing also saw that the other party was not very optimistic about them, and that such a large sum of money was not something anyone could get. Even if their treasure does not have Shanghai, it is only enough money to buy the treasure tree atom materials, but it may not be enough. This time let Luo Qing look away. If this is the case, don't blame him. After returning to the settlement, Luo Qing asked Robin to continue to forge Pluto's drawings in the room. The presence of a small snowball can be regarded as a layer of insurance for their safety. Then he went to the bars that Robin had selected for him. Bruno is his goal to hide his eyes as a bar owner. Menman fruit has been coveted by him for a long time. After going to 4 eligible bars, Luo Qing finally saw the suspected target in the 5th bar. I have to say that the agents of the CP department have received rigorous training. Even if Luo Qing is sure that the other party has recognized him, there is no flaw in it. He doesn't even look at him more. It really should not be underestimated. If it were not for those characteristics that could not be hidden, Luo Qing would really not be sure of his identity. Such as those horns. A cold beer. Luo Qing sat idly in front of Bruno, who was wiping the cup meticulously. Guest, your wine. The reaction movements are a bit slow, and there is a bit of rap tone. If it were not for his good strength, it is estimated that this bar would have been smashed 800 times. Now that the identity of the other party has been almost confirmed, Luo Qing no longer hesitates. He drank the cold beer in one sip, then pretended to take out a few gold coins and threw them on the service counter. The more is a tip for you. Just when Bruno was expressionless to grab the gold coin, Luo Qing covered his right hand. Bruno's eyes flickered. He can avoid, but he can't. Because Luo Qing's movements are not particularly fast, but they are definitely not slow. It is by no means an ordinary bar owner who can avoid it. Besides, why hide? He has been lurking on this island for 4 years. How could a pirate who had just been here for a few days know his true identity? If he avoided it, he would attract attention. What's more important is that even if something goes wrong, he wants to run away, but how many people in this world can stop him? Although Bruno's reaction and thinking were unpleasant, his ability to be an agent of the CP department proved his stability. Luo Qing's right hand still fell on Bruno's money-collecting hand, and firmly suppressed it. What else does the guest want? At this moment, Luo Qing's mood was particularly relaxed. He dared to threaten to beat Bruno 10, but he couldn't guarantee that he would be kept. If a person with the ability of the door fruit is trying to escape, he will chase you uncle. But since he has mental arithmetic and unintentional, Bruno does not want to be exposed and wasted the efforts of these 4 years, then his end is doomed. To be honest, I'm really afraid that you will run away if you see something bad, but that's right, your CP9 has been hidden on this island for 4 years, and naturally you won't give up your hard-won identity easily. Luo Qing's words make Bruno's pupils shrink. He tried to withdraw his hand with brute force, but found that in front of the opponent's strength, his so-called 820 power value was just a joke. For Luo Qing, those devil fruits are not wasted. If Bruno can break free by brute force, then he might as well smash the infinite gloves. After a slight silence, Bruno no longer pretended to be stupid, but bluntly said. Luo Qing, the captain of the faceless pirate group, offered a reward of 350 million Bailey. After fighting against the Admiral Huang Yuan, both were injured and whereabouts are unknown. After investigation, Fengrun Island collapsed and sank directly to the seabed. Why are you here? How did you see through my identity? What is your purpose? Even if he was caught by Luo Qing, Bruno still had the confidence to escape, so he wanted to get more information before leaving here. The information is good. I knew that Huang Yuan's old chrysanthemum could not go back without a problem after eating my trick. I was curious about how he hurt. Knowing that he had said something wrong, Bruno immediately shut up. Although the world government and the Navy are two different institutions, they usually cooperate mostly. Although it is not a major issue, it naturally will not continue to disclose to the enemy. Okay, if you don't want to say it, let's not say it. Let's go ahead in advance. I will send Lu Qi and them to accompany you soon. After hearing that Lu Qi's identity was also exposed, Bruno could no longer suppress the horror in his heart. Revolving door. This trick is to make the people or things he touches rotate like a revolving door, and lose the ability to fight. But he was horrified to find that the strength of his whole body was losing, and the spatial ability he was proud of could no longer be displayed. The whole person was pulled by Luo Qing and spread out on the service counter. At this time, many people had already noticed the change on their side. The infinite gloves that emerged in an instant are shining under the sun. Chapter 87. Sand Burst. It seems that you don't know everything. Drew Bruno closer, Luo Qing's left hand directly touched his neck. Gloves. When did you wear it? Bruno, who was held high by Luo Qing's neck, wanted to transmit the information, but his face turned red, unable to breathe, and unable to make any sound. Hey, what do you want to do? Hurry up and put people down. There is no shortage of nosy people everywhere, let alone a sight of an agent who has been disguised for 4 years. Get in the way. The wind and sand that broke out with Luo Qing as the center drove all the people who came up to take care of the nostalgia. The storm lasted a full minute. When the wind and sand disappeared, everyone grinned and endured the pain as they stepped forward to check. Killed. I remember who that person was just now. That was the faceless Luo Qing who attacked the Navy headquarters and fought against the general. A bounty, the big pirate of 350 million Baileys. It was so terrible just now, how could the owner of this hotel get into such a big guy? Stop talking, let's go. Yes, hurry up. After half an hour, Lu Qi and others who received the news first confirmed Bruno's death, and then met in a very hidden place tacitly. What's the matter? Bruno couldn't escape. He was broken his neck cleanly. Who did it on earth? Lu Qi frowned. It is Luo Qing, the captain of the faceless pirates. Many people saw him leave after killing. The specific reason is unknown. Is Bruno's identity exposed? Khalifa, dressed as an OL, pushed the round glasses on his face and asked with an ugly expression. Impossible. We have been lurking on this island for 4 years. Bruno is only responsible for secretly collecting intelligence. How can someone discover his true identity? Kaku is also in a bad mood, but he does not believe that Bruno will be found out. This Luo Qing is also the focus of the people above. More than a month ago, this man named Luo Qing also fought fiercely with Admiral Huang Yuan for a long time. In the end, General Huang Yuan lost his 2 calves and flew back to the nearest one. After naval base, he vomited blood and fell into a coma, and this Luo Qing didn't know where he was. He didn't expect that he would suddenly appear here after more than a month, and he killed Bruno directly. Lu Qi frowned more and more tightly. He thought he saw Luo Qing appear in dock number 1 today to buy a ship. But now it seems, he suddenly had a bad feeling. Is that unbelievable conjecture true? Hurry up and report. No matter what the reason, our plan will be accelerated. Something is wrong. What happened? Do you think this place is too quiet? Although it is very remote and few people come here, it is very close to the coast. It is impossible to hear the sound of waves and seagulls. Alert. Listening to what Khalifa said, Lu Qi and Kaku also reacted. The deathly silence really gave them a bad feeling. Then they realized that not only other voices could not be heard, but also the voices between them. Fortunately, CP9 also has its own set of gesture communication. The three of them back to back to guard against enemies that may appear around them at any time. The silent King Kong desert sword slashed directly into the three of them, exploding their formation at once. I lost my hearing, and couldn't communicate with each other, and I couldn't hear the sound of the enemy attacking. This feeling is really terrible. Iron block. Shaved. Paper painting. Lu Qi and the three skillfully used the Navy 6 types to defend and evade, and it seemed that they could not be helped by long-range attacks. So a lot of sand poured into the space where Lu Qi and them were. Sand burst. Russell fruit plus burst fruit. Each grain of sand is equivalent to a small bomb, which expands and bursts. And how much sand there is in this casual blow, even Luo Qing can't be sure. Under the shroud of the silent fruit force field, the sand burst lasted for 10 minutes, completely destroying the entire building, but no sound was heard. When the dust cleared and Luo Qing walked slowly into the ruins, the first thing he saw was the three Lu Qi still standing in the center. But a closer look revealed that all three of them were scarred and bleeding. Khalifa barely survived under the protection of Lucy and Kaku, but he also lost consciousness and fell straight to the ground. Kaku was not much better either. At this moment, he was kneeling on the ground and panting, already losing his combat power. Only Lu Qi, who transformed into a leopard form and used the maximum iron, looked better, but the fur on his body was burnt black and gray. Quickly withdrew the silent force field. Luo Qing was somewhat surprised by the power of a trick that he thought of. How do you say that? Art is an explosion. Seeing this scene, Luo Qing somewhat believed. www.mtlnovel.com. For those with unnatural powers, this kind of serial explosion with indiscriminate power that can be superimposed on each other is really cheap and easy to use. It really is you. Lu Qi wiped the blood flowing into his eyes, but he didn't expect them to be followed so carefully all the way. Actually, he is not to blame. Who will pay special attention to the stocking of sand? Especially there is the silence effect of silent fruit. I promised Bruno not to let him be lonely below, so we can only send you down to reunion first, and then we can talk about a deal. Shaved. Point the gun. Lu Qi's pigeon has been bombed and only ashes are left. As the strongest CP9 in 800 years, no enemy can make him flee without a fight. Desert sword. The heavy desert sword smashed into Lu Qi's steel body, making a sound of metal collision, and Luo Qing's blow was only a white seal. It's no wonder that in that explosion, he still had enough energy to save the lives of the other two. 6 Style Uprising, 6 King's Spear. Lu Qi knew the truth of quick battle and quick decision, so he directly put on a strange posture in front of Luo Qing. Armed color domineering Lu Qi definitely dabble. Luo Qing didn't dare to be careless, spinning the slippery fruit. An explosion came to Lu Qi. Blue. The biggest difference between explosive fruit and explosive fruit is that you can explode your body at will without being backlashed by the explosion. When Luo Qing transformed his whole person into the smallest sand and then detonated himself, a huge explosion happened. Lucky's 6 King's Spear hits only endless flames, and then disappears in the mushroom cloud. Chapter 88. Missing a Thug. The flames rose to the sky. A big explosion of this scale cannot be concealed. Not far away from the sky, the fine sand gathers again in human form. Luo Qing simply no longer uses the ability of quiet fruit to deal with the aftermath, but stands quietly waiting for the smoke to disperse. Go with Withoutseeing, the natural spill of the devil fruit energy, it proves that Lu Qi is not dead. Is such a tough guy. Luo Qing now somewhat believes that Lu Qi's potential is by no means general. If he is given enough time to grow up, maybe CP9, the title of the strongest in 800 years, is more than just talking. After being abandoned for 5 years undercover, it can also greatly increase its strength in just 2 years. With only an ordinary animal devil fruit, suspected to awaken, and the development of the 6 types, it can be burned. The fruit's Sabo fought for a short time without letting the wind fall, and even dared to open his mouth to reprimand the red dog who had become the admiral at the time. This kind of talent is really terrifying. Luo Qing subconsciously stroked the infinite glove on his right hand. Without this golden finger, how could he defeat these powerful opponents so easily? And there are more and more powerful monsters waiting for him to pick one by one. Ahem. When the smoke finally cleared, Luo Qing was able to see the situation clearly. If running at full capacity to escape, Lu Qi has the ability to escape the explosion range before taking more damage. But he didn't. Instead, he paid the price of heavier injuries and an arm to protect Khalifa, who was unconscious, and Kaku, who used himself as a meat shield to block Khalifa under him at the last minute. As the government's secret espionage department, shouldn't this kind of thing like abandoning one's companions be familiar? Facing the already half-disabled Lu Qi, Luo Qing rarely showed a serious expression. No matter how distorted his outlook on life, what kind of dark justice he believes in, and how many innocent people he has killed, at least at this moment his belief that he will desperately protect his companions makes Luo Qing deeply touched. After hearing Luo Qing's question, Lu Qi first vomited a few mouthfuls of blood uncontrollably, and then stared at Luo Qing fiercely with fierce eyes. How can the unity and friendship between CP9 members be understood by an outsider? With Lu Qi's temperament, he would naturally not explain more about this kind of thing. He was thinking about the enemy in front of him, and then left here alive with Kaku and Khalifa. But in the face of an enemy with multiple devil fruit abilities, what should be done to achieve the goal with such a severely injured body? Lucky's eyes showed a moment of dazedness. In this silent and solemn atmosphere, Luo Qing suddenly said, "Is there any interest in joining? I just happen to lack a thug on my boat. Anyway, I am also the captain, so I will take a shot in person no matter what." Lucky's ferocious expression stagnated for a moment, and then said mockingly, "Are you recruiting me? Don't you know who we are? CP9 is amazing. Is it a sense of superiority to be a dog for the world government and Tianlong people?" Luo Qing's tone was obviously even more mocking. "My identity was revealed, but what went wrong? Has reached the crisis of life and death. Lu Qi is still thinking about where the problem is, and if Luo Qing has not considered at all, the methods of the world government in cultivating talents and brainwashing are really worth learning from others. Anyway, I'm a dog for others, is there a difference? Dreaming. I thought you would pretend to be with me first, and then try to turn around or escape. I didn't expect to refuse so simply." Luo Qing didn't feel angry at all because of being rejected. This invitation was originally a whim, and he didn't hold any hope at all. If Lu Qi really agreed, it would definitely be just like what he said. After being defeated by Luffy, all members of CP9 were almost killed by the world government and killed them all. Even so, the final result was that Lu Qi and others returned to the world government without thinking of being a pirate or simply joining the revolutionary army. How could this determination be moved by Luo Qing in a few words? Lu Qi's unwavering silence eliminated Luo Qing's last patience. This matter had nothing to do with justice or standpoint, but Luo Qing simply wanted Bruno's devil fruit ability. Benefits can turn anyone into an enemy. This sentence is also a sentence that Luo Qing's father often said on his lips. Luo Qing remembered it, but he always naively looked for exceptions. It's a pity that there are so few exceptions on Earth that he couldn't find it, so he had a lot of troubles. Perhaps in this world, he can find something more important than moving. With a sigh, Luo Qing's left arm turned into a 3-meter-long desert machete. Although he had to negotiate a deal with the world government afterwards, it was enough to leave a living mouth, although he saw Lu Qi's devil fruit. No, but it's also good as an energy boost. www.mtlnovel.com. No matter what kind of devil fruit, there is no waste here. Wait a minute. Just when Luo Qing was about to do it, Khalifa, who had lost consciousness in the first wave of the Big Bang, finally woke up. Kaku, who fell next to her, Lu Qi, who stood in front of her. Looking at the tragic injuries on their bodies, and then at the enemies in front of them who looked like a big devil, Khalifa knew that if they didn't do anything, they would all die. I don't know how our identities were exposed, and you probably won't answer, but I know why you killed Bruno. The fruit of the door has been obtained by you. Khalifa stood up swayingly, wiping the blood stains on his face while making a desperate attempt. In this situation, I still want to get information. Should I say you are dedicated or stupid? Although Luo Qing had read Khalifa's book on the internet before coming to the pirate world, he didn't feel bad about this woman, but he knew exactly what kind of woman could not be touched. Because of his frustration, he lived the life of a rice bug every day except for eating and waiting to die. But after regaining his motivation, he already had a higher pursuit. He would not kneel down and lick the stickers when he saw a beautiful woman, and he could act mercilessly in the face of Tina's roundup, and it was naturally no exception at this moment. The sharp desert scimitar slashed with howling. Lucky could avoid it by himself, but after taking a glimpse of Khalifa, who couldn't even stand still, Lucky's eyes were fierce, and he turned the iron with all his strength and prepared to fight the attack. Do you want more devil fruits? Khalifa exhausted all the strength and shouted. Chapter 89. Talk about one transaction. Desert scimitar stayed on the edge of Luo Qing's neck, and a bloodstain was clearly visible. The strength of the iron used by Luo Qing at this time is no longer enough to defend against Luo Qing's attack. If Luo Qing did not choose to keep his hand in the end, then the most likely possibility is that Luo Qing and the Khalifa behind him were cut into two together. Do you have devil fruits? Luo Qing's tone was very suspicious, but he clearly remembered that both Khalifa and Kaku's devil fruits were obtained after completing the quest in the City of Seven Waters. Is there a memory problem? Is not impossible. The pirate has been serialized for so many years, and he cannot remember all the details. It is not surprising that some memory deviations appear. The knife is on his neck, but Luo Qing has no fear on his face, but just looks at Khalifa with the same frown. If you just come for the devil fruit, killing us will not bring you much benefit, at most only the one of Luo Qing. While saying this, Khalifa was still observing Luo Qing's expression carefully, wanting to know whether his inference was correct. But Luo Qing didn't show any changes in expression from the beginning to the end. This kind of pediatric temptation is a bit too small for him. And some of his secrets have been inferred, at least after Huang Yuan returns, he will definitely not keep the secrets for him, so Luo Qing is not afraid to expose it, but he will not admit anything foolishly. It's the Navy and the world government to guess how you are willing to guess, it's his business. So he bluntly interrupted Khalifa's temptation, it's my business to kill you to meet the income, don't worry about it. But there is a saying that you are right, a devil fruit is a life. I am afraid that you don't have this money to buy life. If Khalifa and the others could really come up with 3 devil fruits to buy their lives, Luo Qing wouldn't mind letting them go. As for revenge, is really faster than the growth rate, could he be afraid of Luo Qing, the so-called genius? If he can win once, he can win the second time and the third time. Waiting for him to strengthen 180 devil fruits, it is estimated that he does not need any other abilities, and he can press the dead end with a finger. After listening to Luo Qing's conditions, Luo Qing's face was very ugly. His pride does not allow him to be traded as goods or a bargaining chip, but he is unwilling to die here like this. The bigger problem is that it is difficult for him to convince himself that the senior management will come up with 3 precious devil fruits to replace their lives. Perhaps his CP9's ace will have a slight possibility, but Kaku and Khalifa just. Luo Qing, did you forget our mission? Getting the reminder from Khalifa, Luo Qing suddenly thought of something. If the task can be successfully completed, then Khalifa and Kaku will be able to get the devil fruits promised in advance, plus the credit of him and Bruno who has died in battle. The conditions for the 3 devil fruits seem to be not impossible. But will this person believe what they say? What price will they pay for this? If he is alone, he can fight to the end without reservation, but. Luo Qing said in a very hoarse voice. We need time. If you want devil fruit, you can only wait until we complete the task. Luo Qing has never been soft in his life, and he is still so tough even in terms of negotiation. Either kill us now, wait for the devil fruit. Probably means that. There may be deeper thoughts, such as fooling around first, and then sending someone to encircle. It's just that, their undercover mission for 4 years is probably going to be a waste. And Luo Qing's eyes flickered after hearing the word mission. It seems that he remembered correctly. At this time, Khalifa and Lu Qi were obviously thinking of the 2 devil fruits they got after the mission was completed. But the drawing of Pluto is not in the hands of Mayor Bingshan, nor in the hands of Frankie he entrusted, but in his place. This also means that their task is impossible to complete. And even if their task can be completed, who can guarantee that they will recognize the content of the transaction after leaving here? It is estimated that it will not only be the devil fruit, but also countless warships and navy powerhouses. So Luo Qing spoke again, but this time he said Lu Qi and Khalifa, who had their own plans, completely shocked. Mission. Pluto's drawings. I wasted 4 years for these illusory things. It's really boring. Who are you? What else do you know? Took a deep breath, Lu Qi barely suppressed the shock in his heart. Could someone in their CP9 betrayed? What happened? Don't be surprised, I know a lot, far beyond your imagination, but it's a pity that your mission is destined to not be completed. Lu Qi and Khalifa became nervous and vigilant again. Luo Qing's words already made them understand that in order to kill them, if they died here, the task would naturally not be completed. But Luo Qing did not intend to continue doing it. Someone is coming, take me to another place of your hiding place. As for whether you can survive in the end, it depends on whether your superiors value you. Lucky and Khalifa glanced at each other. It was their advantage to delay time, and they would naturally not refuse. So Lu Qi picked up Kaku and helped Khalifa walk in front. Luo Qing followed them after a gust of wind and sand covered his whereabouts. Only a piece of ruins after the explosion is left for those who come to see it. After half an hour, Luo Qing followed Lu Qi and others to an unremarkable private house. Luo Qing is not afraid of Lu Qi and the others playing tricks, all conspiracies are hordes in the face of absolute strength. On this island, Luo Qing is qualified to say this. After entering the house, Khalifa twisted an ordinary vase on the shelf, and then a completely different secret room appeared in front of Luo Qing. Although it is not clear what Luo Qing is going to do, but now he can only take one step and see one step at a time. The other party not only clearly knows their identities, but even stated the content of their tasks with certainty. It is really scary to think carefully. Where is the phone worm? Call your boss. Forget it, besides Spandam, do you have any other senior government officials who can contact? When he thought that the leader of CP9 was such a sinister villain, Luo Qing didn't want to talk about the deal with him. It would be better to replace him with someone who would let him not ruin the deal directly under his anger. Lu Qi first placed the seriously injured Kaku well, and then took out a small phone bug in the room. Chapter 90. 5 Old Stars. You even know the name of CP9 chief, who is this guy? After thinking about it, Lu Qi, who was seriously injured, dialed the phone worm of Spandam's father, Spandane. Although both father and son are the same despicable, they are at least better than Spandam, the person he hates most. Little bit. As the former CP9 chief, Spandane quickly got through the phone worm. Lu Qi, don't tell me what happened to my son. After a slight silence, Lu Qi glanced at Luo Qing, who was silent, and then slowly said, there is a problem with the mission, Bruno has been killed, and the identities of me, Kaku and Khalifa are all exposed. I have been caught by the enemy at this moment, and even the contents of the mission have been leaked. I suspect that there may be an internal problem. What? Is this the latest joke you learned? No, if this happens, it should be my son who is talking to me at this time. Why are you? Well, don't be surprised. In fact, I don't want to contact your despicable son, so you'd better pay more attention to the next conversation, otherwise the senior officials of the world government should kill you. Luo Qing took the call bug and unceremoniously set the tone for the conversation. Asshole. Who are you? Where's Lu Qi? Are you deaf? Your people are now in my hands. If the world government needs a few of them to go back alive, they will trade the devil fruit. One devil fruit for one person, fair and just, how about? No matter who you are dead. You dare to threaten the world government. Well, it seems we can't talk about it anymore. If the world government is still interested in Pluto's drawings, let them talk to me with someone else. Luo Qing hung up the phone worm after speaking, and then set his gaze on Lu Qi with a calm face again. It seems that your CP9 status is not high, you can't even bear a few devil fruits. Is actually normal. The so-called CP is just a tool cultivated since childhood. If you don't use it well, you can throw it away at any time. How can you compromise for a few tools, and still pay the extremely scarce resource like devil fruit? Maybe only Luo Qing still has that little value. As for the life and death of Khalifa and Kaku, except for CP9's companions, how could the seniors care about their life and death? Blue brew. The phone worm rang again. Luo Qing took a look and found that it was Spandane, so he didn't answer it. With a stupid, arrogant and despicable guy, he really has nothing to say. It rang 4 times like this, and finally the phone worm changed its appearance on the 5th time. Luo Qing no longer pays attention to Luo Qing, who secretly stored up his strength, but chuckled and connected the phone worm. Which one? CP leader. 5 old stars. It seems that you know us well. A little bit. Speak your purpose, faceless Luo Qing. The waiting time was long enough for other spy personnel still hidden on the island to sort and upload the information, so Luo Qing was not surprised at all. Nothing, I just want to discuss a deal. What deal? The drawing of Hades is in my hands now. A short silence came across. Why, don't you believe it? I still think that Pluto's drawings are still in Bingberg's hands. Haha. You can hurt the Admiral. I admit that you have a certain strength, but don't try to deceive the world government. You can't bear our anger. Are you threatening me? Luo Qing had a smile on his face, but his eyes grew colder. No, I'm just telling a fact. I hope you can take responsibility for what you say. Very good, it seems I can only find another buyer, maybe the Revolutionary Army is a good choice. And many more. The drawing of Hades is really in your hands. I need to see some photos to prove the authenticity. If the deal is negotiated, yes. Then, state your terms. I need the branches of the treasure tree atom to build a ship. It's too small to do it. This condition is not excessive. Although the treasure tree atom is relatively rare, it is really not difficult to obtain it with the means and financial resources of the world government. No problem, let's talk about the other conditions. The other party doesn't think that a branch of the treasure tree atom can be exchanged for Pluto's drawings. If it is so cheap, he will doubt Luo Qing's hands. The drawing is true or false. I'm relatively vulgar, and I have been tighter recently, and my ship and the treasures on the ship have been sunk by the Navy, so it's not too much to ask for 8 billion berries to spend, right? In addition, there will be devil fruits. 180. Impossible. A certain 5 old star directly interrupted Luo Qing's lion's mouth, and the expression on the phone bug was extremely angry. It's just a drawing, no one will pay this price. And you're not afraid of fate to take the dead flower. Obviously Luo Qing's big mouth has angered the other party. www.mtlnovel.com. I am the person who hates being threatened by others. It is my business to have this fate, and it's up to you. If you can't afford it, let's say as soon as possible, powerful buyers are not just the world government. Quote. Luo Qing Zuxin's words hit the opponent's 7 inches at once. It is the best to get a very evil ancient weapon like Pluto. If you can't get it, you would rather destroy it than fall into the hands of other forces. If it is acquired by the 4 emperors or revolutionaries, and then Pluto is really created, then the consequences will really be disastrous. So after saying, we need to discuss, the phone worm went silent. Why are the drawings of Hades in your hands? At this moment, Luo Qing knew what his phrase, you are destined to not complete the task, meant, but he couldn't figure out how he got the Pluto drawing that they had not been able to find after 4 years of undercover inspections. Because you found the wrong person, the Pluto drawings were not in Bingberg's hands at all, but were handed over to others by him early. What is the point of your lurking and undercover by his side? Luo Qing's casual sentence denied them all of their 4 years of hard work. This feeling is both empty and bad. A few minutes later, the phone worm rang again with the white beard. Treasure tree atom, billion berry, 2 devil fruits, plus the title of Chihuahai in exchange for the drawing of Hades in your hand. The previous conditions made Luo Qing's brows frown, but after hearing the final transaction, he raised his eyebrows in surprise. Chihuahai. What the ***** is this again? Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel Chapter 91. Any advice? Giving Luo Qing the status of Chi Wuhai is a good way that the 5 old stars came up with after careful consideration. can not only use a false name to prevent Luo Qing's next lion from opening, but also to ensure the authenticity of Pluto's drawings. If Luo Qing really has any other ideas, or if there are any problems with the drawings, he can be summoned to the Navy headquarters at any time. If he dared not accept it, it would prove to be more of a ghost. As for the so-called transaction, he needs to be more cautious. As for the other reason, the world government also understands his peculiarities and wants to find a breakthrough through this relationship, just like the development of a pacifist bear in cooperation with Burgapunk today. If Luo Qing can use a variety of demon fruit abilities and how to others' abilities and eliminate the secret of fear of sea water and sea floor stones, this will become a major killer of the world government and navy. And Luo Qing not only killed the original Chiwu Hazen crocodile, but also severely injured Huang Yuan. This strength alone was enough to make him a candidate. This kind of bargaining chips, with multiple birds with one stone and all benefits and harmlessness naturally needs to be put out and tested. Luo Qing doesn't know what the old star is thinking, but he should be vigilant. Chiwa Hai. Sorry, I don't have the idea of giving my life to the Navy. Then let me tell you one more piece of news. After the first battle with you, Huang Yuan lost both of his calves. The furious warring states has begun to actually set up a net. This time you will face the admiral, the hero Kapu. Join forces with Chiwahai to hunt down, don't use my admonition as a threat. Luo Qing finally realized the seriousness of the matter. This is the real world, not an online game that can be upgraded step by step. For example, the hapless Click encountered the 100-level bow, SS Hawkeye when he first came out of the novice village, and he was completely wiped out. In the subconscious mind, Luo Qing has always felt that before entering the new world, there will be no big problems. No matter how strong the enemy is, it will be at the level of Lao Sha. But just after hearing these words, if the Navy really sends out such troops to encircle him, he seems to have no second choice besides running. A yellow ape almost killed him, plus these mighty enemies that might appear. Isn't it possible? I know Nicole Robin is also on your boat, as long as you give her to us. Hehe. Dreaming. Luo Qing is full of heart, and the big deal is to find a way to get on the line with the Revolutionary Army. For a while, he can deal with the Navy and the world government for so many years without being discovered and suppressed. The power of the Revolutionary Army is not small. More importantly, he has obtained the fruit of the door. Even if he does not rely on any forces, he is enough to escape before the Navy encircles him. Otherwise, he would not take the initiative to seek a deal with the world government. If there is no means of self-protection, how could he seek skin with the tiger? Seems to have guessed Luo Qing's thoughts a little bit. The voice on the other side is no longer aggressive, but a different way. If Pluto's drawings are confirmed to be correct, the world government can temporarily not pursue Nicole Robin. This is our biggest concession. The promise just now is also valid. Do you want to mix with Chiwahai for a while or join the Revolutionary Army? To be honest, Luo Qing really didn't think about which power he would join, but after thinking about it, he can move more freely with this level of identity, no longer have to deal with the encirclement and suppression of the Navy, and can smoothly and quickly improve his strength. When the favorite devil fruit is almost collected, the title of Chiwahai will be useless for him. At that time, it is not all about his mood whether to find a chance to win the red dog or to find himself a position of the four emperors. Although many pirates in the outside world say that Chiwahai is a running dog of the Navy, in fact, there is no one in Chiwahai who really listens to the command of the Navy. Every time he is called by the Navy, he does nothing. Even the most trusted bear the real identity is the undercover of the Revolutionary Army, and they cooperate with purpose. If this is used as a springboard, it seems to be a good way to use the power of the Navy and the world government to collect more devil fruits to increase strength. You must know that the Draco is so arrogant that he feeds his slaves devil fruits to entertain himself. Instead of being wasted like this, it is better to find a way to control it in your own hands. I just don't know when I see Huang Yuan again, whether the old man will fight him directly. Anyway, there is no such thing as morality in the Navy. At the beginning, the pirate Wabel, who killed General Zepha and killed a crew of students, was later called into a member of Chiwahai and forced Zepha away. Luo Qing will not doubt the ability of the world government in this matter. Is just above the reputation. I want 2 billion berries and 5 devil fruits. I can also accept the title of Chihuahai, but if there is something to call me, at least one devil fruit will be rewarded. I can take as many devil fruits as much as I need. Come change. Some pirates squeezed their heads and couldn't become Chihuahai, but Luo Qing could use this as a bargaining chip. If someone else dared to say such an impossible condition to agree to, the 5 old stars would have happened long ago, even if the other party had the drawing of Pluto in his hands. But they have their own plans, and the premise of this plan is to win over and confuse each other. For this reason, this condition is not really unacceptable, and the other party needs such a large number of devil fruits to make them more certain. Unlimited types. Unlimited types. After a short silence, the other party replied, yes, let Lu Qi take over the rest. After the authenticity is confirmed, the transaction will officially open. Luo Qing glanced at him, believing it. Anyway, he got all the things he wanted, and there is no need to make twists and turns for an insignificant animal devil fruit. After hanging up the phone worm, Lu Qi did not know where he took out a special phone worm and handed it to Luo Qing. This is a fax phone worm, which can transmit the photos taken. Luo Qing took it and turned around and left. www.mtlnovel.com. His voice slowly heard at the door. If you want revenge, you can come to me anytime. Lucky's only remaining hand is firmly grasped. Strength, he needs more powerful strength. Lu Qi, who had been abandoned for 4 years, woke up again at this moment. After returning to the foothold, Luo Qing went to Robin's room for a long time before going back to the room with a piece of paper full of text. There are a lot of strange things in this world, but when it comes to magic, it must be a creature like a telephone worm. There are some that can talk, some that can transmit images, and some that can take pictures. It's just a simplified version of the phone. Chapter 92. How can the world government make deals with pirates? Luo Qing took out the fax phone bug that Lu Qi gave him and pointed it at the processed drawing. Only 2 yellow rays of light came out of the phone bug's eyes. After a few seconds of scanning, all the content is sent out in the form of photos. It is amazing. And just as he was lying quietly in the room thinking, there was a knock on the door. Is Mr. Luo Qing here? I am Bingshan, the mayor of the city of 7 Waters. Why is he here? Luo Qing opened the door and looked very strange. Could it be that the drawing was exposed? Something. The owner of a hotel was killed today. Some people said that they saw Mr. Luo Qing appear there, so I came here to find out the situation. Bingshan speaks quite politely, mainly because pirates of this level can only pacify, otherwise, I am afraid that there will be more riots. Or, in fact, a bigger riot has already occurred, and the thought of the strange big explosion on the coast has clouded the heart of Iceberg. Maybe the theft of the Pluto drawings handed to Frankie is related to these accidents that happened today. But how did these people know this secret? Just when Bingshan was even suspicious of Luo Qing also spoke. It's an enemy from a few years ago. I really killed the person. What advice can Mayor Bingshan give? Facing Luo Qing's straightforwardness, a wry smile appeared on Bingberg's face. Any advice? What can he advise? He dare to have any advice. It would be nice to say if it was an ordinary pirate, but before he came, he had already learned part of Luo Qing's intelligence. Even Qi Wuhai died in his hands, and he was still retreating under the chase of the admiral. Such a thug, where can he advise? After hinting some hope that Luo Qing could help maintain the security environment on this island, Bingberg left. But does this kind of thing really need to be confirmed by the mayor of a city in person? Even if his secretary Carlifa is not by his side, it doesn't need to be so urgent. It seems that Frankie has already told him about the missing Pluto drawings, which is not surprising. Know it when you know it. It doesn't matter if you doubt him. What if you really know it? Can they still go back? Luo Qing quickly left the matter behind. The next day, Lu Qi, who was missing an arm with a bandage, approached the door. The anger and violence of yesterday are gone, replaced by calm and business. It's just that Luo Qing wouldn't think that killing Bruno and his beloved pigeon Hadoli and killing them half to death would be easily put down by him. What if Lu Qi is really the strongest genius of CP9 in 800 years? I don't know if a plugin specifically sanctions geniuses. The reason why he saved his life is because he can make sacrifices for his companions, but it won't be easy to say that he will fight again next time. It is the phone worm from yesterday. It is estimated that the other party has already concluded the photos faxed yesterday. Pursuing the whereabouts of Pluto was originally a task assigned by the Five Old Stars himself. Otherwise, how could a genius like Luo Qing be left unused in the City of Seven Waters for so many years? Its importance is beyond doubt. And it was precisely this point that Luo Qing took the first shot, trying to use a revised fake drawing to hammer the fools of the Five Old Stars. Sure enough, the blood of a profiteer flows in his bones. Hello. Are you sure the authenticity? It turns out to be an ancient text. It seems that the content of this transaction needs some modification. If there are people who understand ancient characters in this world, besides Robin and O'Hara, the world government is most likely. After all, the Tianlongren suddenly emerged as the master of the world in that 100 years of disappearance. It is very possible that there will be records of ancient characters. Presumably, after a day's time, the other party has determined a part of the content, which may not be so accurate but sufficient to prove the value of this drawing. Is definitely not a fake drawing made up. So the content of the transaction changed next is naturally a translation problem. As expected, the other party offered Nicole Robin to translate. If they have all the translations of Nicole Robin, they will compare the literature to the final confirmation. The hope of restoring the Hades will be greatly increased. Even if Nicole Robin translates indiscriminately, he will be caught, but it is left to the other party. It's just that if the content of the ancient text in the first is wrong, you need to know the strange shape of ancient characters. It is better to say that they are some kind of graphics. More strokes and less strokes may mean completely different things. Made up his mind to cheat the world government, Luo Qing did not let go of this opportunity, and asked for 5 more devil fruits. Of course, this number is impossible. After a round of bargaining, the world government paid 2 more devil fruits in exchange for Nicole Robin's translation. In about a month, things will be delivered. I hope this transaction can be successfully concluded. I also hope that if you don't have the idea of killing me after the transaction is over, www.mtlnovel.com, it seems that we thought of going together, would you not have the idea of black and black? The other party's tone is very serious, and the biggest problem hindering this transaction is trust. Luo Qing does not trust the world government, and they also do not trust Luo Qing. And Pluto's drawings are inevitable for the world government. There are many opportunities to kill Luo Qing, but Pluto's drawings must not go wrong, so it is better to say that the world government is more afraid of problems with this transaction. For example, Luo Qing turned his face and did not recognize people and killed those who were sent to trade. Deduct and escape. Therefore, there is an urgent need for a safe transaction method that both parties can agree with. How about letting the Marshal of the Warring States period and Lieutenant Karp endorse this transaction? Luo Qing suddenly suggested. Impossible. How can the world government make deals with pirates? Luo Qing immediately understood what the other party meant. This kind of secret transaction may have been done by the world government many times, but it will never be announced to the public to let the people of the world know the dirty things they have done. And with Karp's temperament, how could it be possible for the world government? Chihuahai. Let the Marshal of the Warring States period and Lieutenant General Karp personally admit that I became Chihuahai in the live video. The world government used fake news to deprive Ming Jie Chihuahai of the means, but Luo Qing had to guard it. Presumably the world government does not want the reputation of the Navy to be ruined on a small person like me. The 5 old stars on the phone worm instinctively wanted to refuse, but after thinking about it, this would be a good way. Being able to say this kind of thing proves that the other party doesn't seem to want to be out of line. The most important thing is to successfully complete this transaction. Chapter 93. The Truth That Makes People Blink. A deal with ghosts was reached in private like this. Luo Qing left with the phone worm without saying a word. The conclusion of the transaction means that Bruno's death has been completely ignored. No high-level executive will care about the demise of a tool, and achieving the goal is their mission. If the lives of all CP9 members can be exchanged for Pluto's drawings, it is estimated that the 5 old stars will not hesitate to choose this way. But this does not mean that Luo Qing will give up revenge. He has a hunch that this man will not only be willing to be a Chihuahai and obey the dispatch honestly. When Luo Qing chooses to abandon this level of identity, he will chase it even at the end of the world and understand this grudge. Gently knocked on Robin's door, and when he walked in, Luo Qing directly activated the ability of silent fruit to avoid being eavesdropped. How is it done? It's not that simple to not be seen by others. Robin stretched his waist lazily, and his already magnificent suddenly became fuller and more attractive. The transaction time has been fixed. About a month later, is it time? Let Nami come and help me, drawing is not my strong point. I'll call her over later. How to make the forgery more realistic. Robin is more experienced in this respect, and Luo Qing chose to let her go with full authority. Wait until the world government has spent a lot of manpower and material resources to create a Pluto with nothing but a fiction. I don't know if it wants to cut him out. After eating Xiao Shuecho's love dishes, Luo Qing came to dock number 1 again by himself. He needs to finalize the drawings as soon as possible within this month's waiting time, and if there are any scarce materials that need to be used, he should also prepare in advance. This time the person in charge did not send him in, but when he came to Kiran for the second time, especially when he was alone, he was sensitive to find that the expressions on his surroundings were getting more and more weird. Is this Kiran so popular? Or is there something inside that he doesn't know? Through the last contact, he felt that this Kiran was a very enthusiastic and bold guy, but he didn't know why he changed his surname. He obviously cared about the situation of old John but never wanted to mention it. Hey, Kiran. I like the name Zhong Lin better. Okay, Kiran. Just gave a polite hug, and the faces of all the boatmen at work became very exciting, and then they bowed their heads. What can I do when I came to see me this time? Could it be that he got Baoshu Atom? It's fast enough. Well, the funds for Baoshu Atom and the shipbuilding have been settled, and they will be in place in about a month. How is the drawing design on your side? Come with me. Since it was on business, Luo Qing naturally followed him back to the lounge. Until they disappeared, the boatmen working with their heads down did they breathe a sigh of relief, and then they gathered together and muttered very gossip. Green date, green date. Come out soon, another guest is here. Luo Qing's guest made both Juran and Qing Zhao very happy. Whether this joy came from the heart or was perfunctory Luo Qing can still tell. Is really weird, are there few people here? Taking advantage of Qing Zhao's smile on his face to make tea, Luo Qing couldn't help but asked, why are so many people looking at me strange all the way along the way? Last time it was the same. The steward looked at me well. It took me 1 minute to bring me over, and I was almost ready to beat someone. The smile on Kiran's face immediately froze, and his expression hesitated. The way he was hesitant to talk was really painful. If it's inconvenient, don't have to say it. There is nothing I can't tell people, otherwise I wouldn't be squeezed out like this. When Luo Qing said this, Kiran got excited. Is there any inside story? Luo Qing thought this way, and then saw Qing Zhao coming over with tea. The smile on his face was never seen again, replaced by sadness and sadness. Brother Lin. Don't persuade me, Qing Zhao, I have this temper. It's not the first day we are together. Qing Zhao looked at him with a complicated expression and nodded, and then sat beside him obediently. The two people held hands and looked at each other affectionately. If it weren't for the light bulb of Luo Qing, they might have already begun to roll their sheets. Ahem. Was forced to feed a handful of dog food for some reason, and Luo Qing really had to interrupt the two of them. In fact, they look at you with strange eyes because of me, and Qing Zhao. Qing Zhao is not actually a woman, but we really love each other, why can't we be blessed? I ran away from home because my love between Lin and I was discriminated against by the people around me. After my parents forcibly separated the two of us, I left the sad place in anger. Snap. The teacup that Luo Qing drank to his mouth fell directly to the ground, torn apart. He opened his eyes for a while and looked at Kiran, www.mtlnovel.com, for a while and looked at the green jujube like everyone else. Nima, this sudden show has almost snapped my old waist. Is it a boy who is so beautiful? What a cute girl. Kiran's name is really correct, he is actually gay. No wonder he felt that people around him looked at him wrong when he came for the first time, but that time there was a beautiful woman like Nami Robin, so it was nothing. And this time only he came by himself, so he was misunderstood. At the thought of the hug of the two of them just now in full view, Luo Qing couldn't help but shocked. Turned out to be, this is the case. After seeing Luo Qing's performance, Kiran's face returned to calm, as if he was used to it. But Qingzhao's face is miserable, so I feel pity for one. This is how it is. Zhang Lin is my first love. To commemorate him, I added his name to my own name. As for John's surname, I have already dropped it. I will ask another foreman to help you with shipbuilding. If you can't believe me, you can also find someone else, but my 5% discount promise is still valid. Although Kiran doesn't have any contacts, his face may not be effective, but he is willing to cover the price difference out of his own pocket. The only person who didn't look down on him was Uncle John, and the people he introduced couldn't lose the face. In fact, he also feels that he will not stay here long. No one wants to work under the hands of a gay, even though his craftsmanship is very good. Even if there is, I am afraid of him like a snake and scorpion, for fear of being seen by him. For boatmen, reputation is particularly important. Chapter 94, Supernova. Luo Qing finally figured out the source of the other party's enthusiasm this time, and it is estimated that he has been stunned and neglected. The occasional visitor who can talk normally is naturally happy, but he may not really have any other ideas. It seems that the environment of the City of Seven Waters can accommodate perverts and pirates, but it cannot accommodate gays and shemales. Luo Qing quickly woke up from the initial shock. He didn't discriminate against the life choices of the two in front of him. He just couldn't accept it on himself. Moreover, they are only in business relations, and they don't involve private lifestyle, as long as you know why others look at yourself with strange eyes. Are the drawings ready? Show me. Mr. Luo Qing, are you still willing to cooperate with me? What kind of person you are has nothing to do with me. I only care about whether your craft can meet my needs, so as long as you can come up with works that satisfy me, why should I look for someone else? With such a bad reputation, he can still be one of the top 5 foremen at Dock 1. Luo Qing doesn't believe it if he doesn't have excellent craftsmanship. And the reason why I didn't have any impression of this character, it might be that at that time more than a year later, this Kiran had been squeezed away by the cold eyes around, and Kaku was given a chance to take the lead. Kiran looked very surprised, and then went to get the drawing very happy. Thank you, really thank you. Qingzhao secretly wiped his tears. Luo Qing is one of the few people who have not shown contempt after knowing the true situation of the two of them for so many years. Soon, Kiran went and returned, looking excited and laid a drawing in front of Luo Qing. This was originally an idea I made long ago, and it has been sorted out after so many years of perfection. If you still see it, it is yours. Luo Qing is the first time to see such a beautiful boat. It seems that every line is in line with the concept of engineering aesthetics. He subconsciously flicked the hull of the ship still on the drawing with his hand. It is hard to imagine that he actually fell in love with a ship at first sight. Beautiful, elegant, full of technological sense. I think this ship meets all your requirements. It's too much pursuit of beauty, which reduces the load and firepower of the ship to a certain extent, but in terms of speed and defense, it is my peak work for many years. But in addition to the treasure tree atom, there are also many other precious materials, but as long as they are willing to spend money, they can buy them, and the budget can be 200 to 300 million berries. Kiran's commentary. Luo Qing can't listen at all. No matter how much money he spends, he has to order this ship. Needless to say, that's it. How long will it take to build? If the materials are complete, it will be completed in 2 months. If there are more people, this time can be shortened. Okay, then please. Now that he has no money or materials, and it is useless to be anxious, Luo Qing sighed in his heart and took back the fingers lingering on the drawing. It is my lifelong wish to build this ship, don't worry. When Luo Qing left, Kiran gave him such a promise very seriously. Luo Qing is also convinced of this sentence. Every boatman may have a similar wish, Tom, Frankie, and Kiran. And just after he left, Kiran gritted his teeth and used his privileges as a foreman, and began to apply to the union for various special and precious shipbuilding materials. After all, some materials are very scarce and the union needs to be transferred from other places. Kiran hopes to use his privileges to save waiting time. Even though he took a lot of risk in doing so. In case Luo Qing does not come to him after a month, Although materials and other materials can be returned to the Union, he still has to bear all the expenses incurred during the transportation, and he will be punished by the Union. But he is willing to believe Luo Qing once, just as Luo Qing chooses to believe him. Boom. Putting down the phone bug, the right fist of the Warring States period hit the table hard. Let's let Lieutenant General Karp come over. The Warring States commanded to endure the anger. Yes. Soon, Karp clasped his nostrils while stuffing senbei in his mouth. When Karp unceremoniously opened the stool and sat down, the Warring States period had already recovered his calm. Are you sure you want to do it? Although Karp did not regard Luo Qing as a real evil party, it is an indisputable fact that Huang Yuan was seriously injured and lost 2 calves. Now I got the intelligence of the other party's swaggering appearance in the City of Seven Waters, and the Navy will respond to it. Not to mention that the Navy is trying to get the secrets of the other party. So a joint encirclement plan was launched. On the Chihuahai side, Doflamingo, who died of 2 cadres, the tyrant Xiong who had always obeyed the Navy's enlistment, and the idle Eagle Eye were all planning. In addition, there will be Admiral Akadog and Hero Kapu as the leader. This lineup can't be resisted by anyone except for a frontal battle with the 4 emperors. Is enough to show the determination of this Warring States period. The defeat of the Admiral, Yu reading www. Yuakanshu. The face lost by the calm Navy must be recovered by hand. But just now, the plan was completely scrapped because of a phone call. Faceless Luo Qing exchanges the Hades drawings for the title of Chihuahai. And the world government has agreed. Secretly, what kind of agreement Luo Qing has reached with the world government and the Warring States are not clear, but he knows it is more than that. Just because the 5 old stars personally gave him instructions just now, he and Karp need to announce to the world the news that faceless Luo Qing has become one of the 7 Wuhai in the live video. Is not to discuss, but to inform. This disrupted all the deployment of the Warring States. He couldn't refuse, because he knew too much about the importance and fear of the world government on ancient weapons. Such a thing must be in your own hands to be at ease. So even if he disagrees as a Marine Marshal, it will not help. What is even more aggrieved is that, in order to take care of the overall situation, he has to do his best to convince Karp, a lawless old who is not afraid of anything. The plan was cancelled. An hour later, live video broadcasts of Warring States and Karp appeared in every corner of the world. The news that Luo Qing became Chihuahai shocked countless people. Many people didn't know where this nameless boy came out of before, but after some inquiries, they knew his sturdy record. Slay the sand crocodile of the original Chihuahai natural devil fruit ability. Destroyed nearly 10 warships, and retreated under the chase of the Admiral Huang Yuan's strength means that a supernova is rising. Chapter 95. This garbage fruit. There was also a live broadcast of Luo Qing becoming Chihuahai in the capital of 7 Waters, but Luo Qing just took a look and left. The goal has been achieved. Although becoming Chihuahai was not originally in his plan, from the current situation, he can only take one step at a time. Who would let him have such a great ability to die? Almost the entire ocean the strong are offended all the time. Temporarily lurking for a period of time to accumulate power. By the way, it is not bad to hate the Navy and the world government. But the following days fully proved the troubles of celebrities. The news that Luo Qing appeared in the City of 7 Waters is no secret. Although the 350 million bounty is quite a lot, it is only relative to the first half of the Great Route. In the New World, there is a sea of such a bounty. Although there are not so many thieves, they are really rare. Light is that most of the new guy pirates who enter the New World as a supernova every year have a bounty of 230 million, and even their strength will exceed the bounty amount. But when the Navy Marshal and Navy heroes personally announced the identity of Luo Qing Chihuahai in a live video broadcast, most of the pirates who were pursuing and thinking on the island suddenly came here. Chihuahai was established to balance the structure and not let the 4 emperors dominate. To put it bluntly, the naval power is not enough to fight the 4 emperors, so 7 powerful pirates were recruited as helpers against the 4 emperors as a last resort. To be able to become a Chihuahai person, the most important condition is to be strong. This is the official recognition from the Navy. In a sense, it is more reliable than the bounty. Of course, it is not without exception, such as a red nose who is still looking for treasure in the East China Sea. So many pirates with insufficient reputation and strength are proud to be the crew of Chihuahua. This also led to Luo Qing's desire to take the little snowball and the others out to play in vain. No matter where he went, someone would take the initiative to promote himself. What's even more amusing is that there are still people who want to drink the wine of the sun and join Luo Qing. Where does the confidence come from? To be honest, if these guys are really good at strength, Luo Qing might have acquiesced, but there seems to be no effect except for ruining his reputation. It's better to leave the miscellaneous work to Kirby. Therefore, Luo Qing finally managed to live a few days of leisure after putting dozens of people cleanly. Molested Nami and Little Snowball every day, brushing his presence in front of Robin, squeezing Kirby's potential, and living a little life easily. I don't know why. These days Frankie often appears around this street. As the mayor, Bingberg frequently runs toward him while recruiting secretaries. Although he found a good excuse, Luo Qing, who knew what he had done, had probably guessed that the other party was suspicious. It is true that Luo Qing has been doing things too high profile recently. Frankie's drawings on the front foot were stolen, and Luo Qing on the back foot caused 2 major riots. Then, within a few days, the Navy announced his Chihuahua status, and he was also the Marshal of the Warring States period. 2 highly respected admirals and Lieutenant General Karp personally endorsed it. This is inevitably suspicious. But even if they really suspected Luo Qing's head, Bingberg and Frank didn't dare to touch Luo Qing's mold. 1 month's time is fleeting. Luo Qing has already replaced the fruit of the door. Even if the world government is not ready to keep its promise, he is confident to take Nami and others to escape. And Robin and Nami also managed to come up with a Pluto drawing after the magic transformation. Although they both don't understand science and technology, it's okay to use some ordinary materials to fool through. The most important artillery system and shell composition of Hades, even if the world government really restores it according to this blueprint, its power must be sparse and ordinary. Let alone sink an island in one shot, it is not necessarily more powerful than a Navy ship. After checking it several times and making sure that the flaws will not be seen at a glance, the candidate for the world government to come to trade has finally arrived. Is actually the legendary CP0. If it wasn't for them to be strange and long, Luo Qing might not recognize them. Did you bring something? You may not bring what I want. Just played a stock inexplicably, which made Luo Qing look forward to whether these guys would really match the lines behind. But obviously CP0 couldn't have seen infernal affairs, so the shortest guy in the middle waved his hand directly, and 10 black suitcases were placed on it, and the legendary treasure tree atom was also carried and put outside. In the end, a tall guy CP0 next to him slowly opened a wooden box, which contained 7 devil fruits of different colors. What you want? Luo Qing casually lost a drawing. According to the content of the transaction, there should be a translation of Nicole Robin. You need to verify the authenticity, and I naturally need to check what you brought, www.mtlnovel.com, and wait for the 2 parties to confirm the correctness before proceeding to the final handover. The 3 of the other party looked at each other as a default. One of them took out the fax phone worm that made Luo Qing familiar and began to transmit the photos back to the world government, and Luo Qing also began to check the contents of the boxes one by one. As for Baoshu Atom, he can recognize it by just looking for a somewhat famous boatman. As long as money and devil fruits are okay, world conquest will not play tricks on this. 5 black suitcases are filled with 10,000 yuan denominations of banknotes. Each box is 200 million bell, which adds up to exactly 2 billion bell. As for the 7 devil fruits, Luo Qing was also afraid that the world government would do anything, so he took out the devil fruits illustration book and observed them one by one. Don't give him the inferior products made by hand. With such a comparison, Luo Qing quickly determined the identities of 5 of the devil fruits, namely the needle fruit of Superman, the butterfly shape of the insect fruit, the dragonfly shape of the insect fruit, the ladybug shape of the insect fruit, and the sheep shape of the sheep fruit. Is really TM day. No wonder I promised so happy. This is to bring all the garbage devil fruits that the world government has accumulated over the years and no one wants. If it weren't for the 2 devil fruits not found in the illustrated book, Luo Qing really wanted to hack this transaction. I said I want devil fruit. You just fool me with this kind of garbage. Luo Qing's tone was very bad. Transaction content: 7 devil fruits, unlimited types, unlimited strengths and weaknesses. The leader of the other party cherishes the words like gold, just waiting quietly for the superior's order. Luo Qing doesn't care whether he is satisfied with the traded items. Had it not been for a special order from the superior to not allow them to do anything, perhaps the fight would have started now. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel Chapter 96, Transaction Complete. Luo Qing's face is really disappointed, but he is still very happy. Trash fruit naturally has its effect. Is used either as a pure energy to strengthen itself or as an energy source to activate the awakening state of the devil fruit in the groove. If it were all powerful devil fruits, he would fall into a kind of entanglement. But if you want to come to the devil fruit with great potential or powerful, the world government has already used it for a long time, and there will be no enemy. The reason why he poses like this is just to show them. If you get a bunch of asterisk 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 and get happy, that's completely abnormal. After a while, the phone worm on CP0 rang, and then the leader said to Luo Qing, the transaction can continue. Luo Qing threw away the translation that Robin had prepared in advance, then lifted up everything with sand and prepared to leave. You can't go yet. Hehe, it seems you want to keep me for dinner. Think about what you want for the last meal. Luo Qing directly used elementalization to float himself up. He had never seen these people take action, and he didn't know what kind of ability the other party had. In order to avoid capsize in the gutter, he was going to teach these people a severe lesson. But just when he was about to make a move, the other party didn't mean to make a move at all, but threw a piece of paper over like a dart. Luo Qing frowned and took it directly with the sand. It records the time, place, and some matters of attention. Although the Navy and the world government have recognized your identity as Chihuahua, the necessary procedures must continue. Marin Bando. The paper recorded the way to the Navy headquarters and the latest arrival time, and he must come in person. If you don't even dare to go to the Navy headquarters, then what is Chihuahua? Probably means this. You don't use this to set up a trap to kill me, do you? Luo Qing has never trusted the world government and Navy. It's up to you to go or not. Our task has been completed. Rob Lucci, Kaku, and Karifa will follow us back to report on our duties. You are very upset at the failure of your mission this time. After you go back, you will do it yourself. After speaking, the 3 CP0s took their things and left, and they were not worried about whether the 3 of Lucci could keep up or would take the opportunity to escape. Before leaving, Lucci glanced at Luo Qing one last time, then silently followed up and left with his mouth. Khalifa and Kaku also followed. The brainwashing education they received from childhood has thoroughly cultivated them into a tool. Even if they are willing to resist, they will not be the opponents of CP0, which controls the entire CP department. At least not now. The expected battle and ambush did not appear, and the transaction was really successfully completed. Luo Qing felt a little gap in his heart. It felt like you had prepared 10,000 countermeasures to cope with the next difficulties, only to find the bottom bow. SS had only a drop of blood and was poisoned. Before you touch him, he died. As for Lucci's last words, Luo Qing didn't take it to heart. When we meet again, the gap in strength will only be greater and will not shrink. After they left, Luo Qing waved everything into the infinite glove. After thinking about it, he took out 5 black leather boxes, and then rolled the treasure tree atom outside with sand and left. Number 1 doc. When Luo Qing brought Baoshu atom over, it immediately aroused crowds. Although the treasure tree atom is very rare, and everyone who can use it to build ships is not a legendary big man, but for the boatman on this island, he will be excited and not gloomy. Because most of the known ships built by treasure tree atom were completed on this island. Saw Kiran again, the excitement in the other's eyes was clear. Everything is ready, when can I start? Luo Qing put down the treasure tree atom and 1 billion Bailey. Since he wants to build him, he must build a good ship that can be recorded in the annals of history. If the money is gone, you can make more money. He must solve the problem of the boat. He is really fed up with the days of robbing garbage boats to go to sea. Now you can. Luo Qing was stunned for a moment, with a smile on his face. Except for the fact that the other party is gay, he really thinks that Kiran is a good enough boatman in every aspect. Okay, I'll leave it to you. Don't worry, no more than 2 months at most, I will build this ship. Well, it doesn't matter if you slow down a bit, but don't let someone who wants to make small moves. Luo Qing suddenly thought of Bingberg and Frankie, and felt compelled to guard. Today CP0 appeared openly and took away something but left behind what it brought. It is really hard not to make people think about it. It's just that the world government or Luo Qing won't admit it. I understand. No one can do anything under my nose. Handing over the shipbuilding to Kiran, Luo Qing is very relieved. I may leave for a while. www.mtlnovel.com. If there is any problem, I may not be able to help you. The ship that moves Chihuahua. I don't think anyone on this island is so anxious to reincarnate. Luo Qing also smiled. He waved his hand and turned away. Although he also wanted to guard the ship's launch, in order to win a stable period of strengthening his own strength, he did need to go to Malin Vando, but this time he was not going to bring Nami and others. If he was alone, he could run out, but it would be unrealistic to watch Nami, Robin and others all the time. And he didn't need to take a boat to go to the Navy headquarters this time, as long as he took the sea train to Judicial Island, and then arranged by the people over there. There are Snowball and Robin, but you can still do it if you want to escape. After returning to the hotel, Luo Qing called all the staff over. It's done? Nami asked worriedly and expectantly. Luo Qing nodded readily. Oh yeah. Great. 2 billion berries. Take it out and show me, I have never seen so much money. Nami's eyes once again turned into Bailey's symbol. Luo Qing had to take out 5 black boxes from the infinite gloves and threw them on the bed, letting Shaosai fans hold them and roll back and forth. The other billion I have already given to Kiran. It is estimated that it will be completed in less than 2 months. When I see it, I promise you will like it. Seeing that Luo Qing said that the vows are still mysterious, everyone was aroused by him and wanted to see with their own eyes what kind of boat it was that made him so praised. Regarding Luo Qing's 1 billion shipbuilding fee, Nami felt a little distressed, but she knew that some money had to be spent, so she didn't say much, but continued to roll in the sea of banknotes. Chapter 97. Preparation before leaving. Also, I need to go to Malin Vander. Navy headquarters. Robin was shocked. It's just a cutscene for the title of Chihuahua. Don't worry, even if it's a trap, I can walk out safely, but this time I can't take you with you. Last time it was just a yellow ape and almost wiped out them, but Luo Qing spent a full month in bed and healed for a month before he recovered. Malin Fanduo, who is going to go this time, is definitely considered Longtan Tiger Den. Even if Luo Qing said so easily, how could other people really believe it? Anyway, things have already been tricked, can't you be this Chihuahua? Nami sat on the bed and looked at him worriedly. Isn't Chihuahua okay? Of course. It's just that Luo Qing really needs this banner to cover some unnecessary troubles for him, and he still has his own plan. If he doesn't seek greater benefits for himself through the title of Chihuahua, he won't be at a loss. Don't worry, this Chihuahua is only temporarily dang, we will withdraw when we get enough benefits. Maybe we can still be a 4-sovereign dang at that time. After saying this, Luo Qing took a special look at Xiao Shuecho. Xiao Shuecho immediately put aside her head proudly, but she was very happy to come. Luo Qing did not forget what she promised. Since we have to go, let's prepare now. Should the ship be there when we come? What are you doing? Seeing Nami start to pack up and salute, Luo Qing hurriedly held her down. Without me as a navigator, can you find the Navy headquarters? Nami rolled her eyes to show him. Then you were wrong. Luo Qing was very funny when she told about the sea train, which made Nami greatly dissatisfied. Luo Qing also knew that Nami wanted to go with him because she was worried about him, but Luo Qing really didn't dare to say that the situation was good or bad this time. At least Huang Yuan and Doflamingo are 2-time bombs, and other people may not be pleasing to him. If they are not handled well, it may be a terrifying battle. In this case, where Luo Qing can take them safely, it is safer to stay in the City of 7 Waters. Of course, the promises of the world government are not necessarily reliable. Fortunately, there is a small snowball. As long as he is more cautious and drags him back, it should be fine. Then he looked at Robin again. The Pluto drawings must be kept well. If you encounter a crisis situation, I would rather destroy it than fall into the hands of others. Forget it, ask the captain to take it back for such a dangerous thing. I have read all the ancient words on it anyway. Robin smiled, took out the real Pluto drawing and handed it to Luo Qing. I'm not afraid I will sell this too. Luo Qing did not pick up, but said something seemingly joking. At least for now, I am willing to respond to the captain's trust, and I have a gift for you when the captain returns from Molenvander. Luo Qing wanted to verbalize a few words, such as, better give me yourself, you're the best gift for me, and so on. But after thinking about it, I gave up. It seemed too frivolous, so let it be. Leave these money with you first, so as not to be snatched away. At this time, Nami also reluctantly put down the money box. It is really abnormal enough for this little money fan to tell this kind of thing. Luo Qing subconsciously covered her forehead with the palm of her hand. She didn't have a fever. Yeah. Seeing Nami look embarrassed, it really looks like a little wild cat with fried hair, it made everyone laugh. Luo Qing stopped tweaking, waved and put away everything. It seemed that everything was developing for the better. At night, Luo Qing took out all the devil fruits. Since he was going to the Navy headquarters, he couldn't be too careful to prepare. In addition to the rustling fruit, the door fruit, the slippery fruit, and the burst fruit that are inlaid on the infinite glove at this time, he also has more gravitational fruit, fast cut fruit, imitated fruit, silent fruit, candle fruit, honey badger fruit, water fruit, real, swimming fruit. In addition, the 2 unknown fruits among the 7 demon fruits obtained today were also tested by him using the characteristics of the infinite glove. If he guessed correctly, these 2 fruits should be the 2 devil fruits that CP9 got after completing the mission, the superhuman bubble fruit and the animal bull fruit giraffe shape. Don't ask me why the giraffe is a form of cow, I don't know. Needless to say, these 2 stars belong to the existence of lost gambling, in the original work, and naturally they are also tasteless. The function of the bubble fruit is to reduce friction to the enemy to achieve the effect of slippery fruit, and then laugh and watch the enemy slip and make a fool of. Luo Qing felt that this fruit should not be so rubbish, and it matched the original Nami. Without Usopp's tool transformation ability, Nami's combat effectiveness is almost negligible, but through that hollow stick, reading www.uakanshu.com, Nami can play with flowers, cold and hot bubbles. Yes, thunder and lightning for a while, gust of wind. If this fruit is handed over to Nami for development, will it reach a level beyond the original work? Luo Qing was not sure, and was going to leave it to Nami to decide on her own when she left. Anyway, the bubbles flying out of the weather stick are also air bubbles, but only with more empty shells and Visalia Sky Island devices can they achieve all kinds of incredible effects. Now that she can generate manipulation bubbles by herself, she should be able to develop her own unique moves. Maybe find a chance to go to the Sky Island. This is also one of the abilities that Luo Qing thought was suitable for Nami. In addition, imitating the fruit is also quite suitable. The perfect transformation and imitation, coupled with Nami's own superb acting skills, can definitely be mixed with her old career. In that case, it basically gave up all fighting ability, and Luo Qing did not need Nami to do any hidden work. The imitating fruit cannot use its original attack method when it activates its abilities. This huge shortcoming can only make it a chicken rib. After thinking about it, Luo Qing first took out the gravitational fruit and the silent fruit, and then picked out the candle fruit and set it aside. These 3 devil fruits are ready to be put away first. Even if they are absorbed and strengthened, they will not be available temporarily. In fact, the water fruit sounds really ridiculous, but to be honest, it is useless, because it is not a natural type but a superhuman type, and its ability is only to allow the user to swim in inorganic substances, and there will be such big ripples. Flaw is a good way to escape, but it's a pity that Luo Qing already has a more powerful family fruit, which is not needed at all. The last bubble fruit prepared for Nami was also collected by him. Chapter 98. Becoming stronger depends on Krypton Devil Fruit. There are 10 devil fruits that can be used for strengthening. Among them, there are 6 devil fruits from the animal type and 4 from the Superman type. After the statistics were completed, Luo Qing no longer hesitated and picked up an animal devil fruit and began to absorb. 1, 2, 3. This feeling of being able to clearly feel that oneself is becoming stronger is really fascinating. Others become stronger by talent, hard work, and training. Luo Qing becomes stronger by the devil fruit of Krypton. This is the awesomeness of plugins. Luo Qing almost strengthens the connection between body and spirit by absorbing an animal devil fruit and then a Superman devil fruit. Krypton devil fruit is good, but it has to be done step by step. There is no difference between uncontrollable power and non-existence. Fortunately, the devil fruit of the Superman series can help Luo Qing adapt to this force quickly. But at this time, the absorption of 9 devil fruits is already at the limit. The last time I absorbed 2 animal types and 3 superhuman types, the remaining animal type devil fruits are not unable to continue to be absorbed, it is just that it will be extra. The power can't be controlled, it's better to keep it in case of a lapse in time, and you can use it to amplify the move if you really want to fight. If it hadn't sacrificed the fruit of thorns to forcibly awaken the fruit of gravitation, and then released a big move like a black hole, it would have been impossible to seriously hurt the yellow ape who underestimated the enemy. Put away the last animal devil fruit, Luo Qing began to feel the power in his body. I wonder if this kind of physical fitness is stronger than a physique expert like Carp Sengoku. May not reach the strength of an undead monster like Kaido, but it should definitely be counted among the small group of people with the best physical fitness. That is the strengthening of 14 devil fruits. Total. Even if a part of the energy is used to strengthen the spirit and deepen the close connection between the body and the spirit, it is definitely not what ordinary people can expect. Not to mention the greatly enhanced armed color domineering and the slightly improved knowledge color domineering. After this enhancement, the domineering color is now. And after this enhancement, the last 2 grooves on the infinite glove can also be used. He is finally able to transform into a real 6 ability user. Gravity fruit and candle fruit are directly embedded in the last 2 grooves. The surging energy that spilled out was invisible to Luo Qing's strong physical quality. Raised his right hand and saw that the devil fruits of various shapes and colors above shone charmingly like stars in the dark night. Rustle fruit plus door fruit plus slippery fruit plus burst fruit plus gravitational fruit plus candle fruit. Although the matching is not so wonderful, for the current Luo Qing, this configuration is the peak he can currently achieve. As for the more powerful and useful devil fruit, he will get it sooner or later. Luo Qing was suddenly full of confidence in this trip to Marin Vatican. One night dream. After everyone was sitting together for breakfast the next day, Luo Qing suddenly took out a devil fruit and handed it to Nami. For me, this is a superhuman bubble fruit, its ability is. I believe you already know the cost, you can think about it slowly if you want this ability. If you really don't want to eat it, then you can return it to me after I come back. Luo Qing said a lot of Nami without listening, she just remembered a word. As long as I eat this devil fruit, my skin can become as smooth as yours. Maybe, probably, maybe, yes. Luo Qing almost choked to death by tuna rice ball. Now he seriously doubts whether it was a big mistake to eat this devil fruit for Nami. Is obviously the choice made to make her stronger. Why is she only concerned about whether her skin will get better? What made Luo Qing more speechless was that after he nodded extremely depressed, he actually saw the word, envy, in the eyes of Robin and Xiao Shuecho. Seems to be worried about why the devil fruit that I eat does not have cosmetic effects. As expected, all women in the world are the same. Whether it is Yu Jia or Xiao Lolita. Perhaps it was the hot eyes of Robin and Snowball that made Nami vigilant, and she took a big bite at the devil fruit on her hand without saying a word. Although I will lose the ability to swim from now on, in order to prevent myself from becoming a burden, I fight for smooth and beautiful skin. Vomit. Just took a bite, and Nami threw away the remaining devil fruit, and ran to the bathroom with a green face. Robin and Xiao Shuecho regretfully retracted their eyes. But that's okay, the devil fruit is magical enough. You only need to take a bite. You don't have to eat it all, and it turns into pure energy to transform the host's body when it is eaten. Even if you want to vomit, you can't vomit it. Teacher, that. At this time, Luo Qing saw Kirby twitchingly and from time to time cast his eyes on the remains of the devil fruit that fell on the ground. Do you want to be a demon fruit ability too? Kebi nodded quickly. www.mtlnovel.com. It seems that Luo Qing disagrees, and he moved out a lot of theories that I don't know where I heard from. It's just how did he know that Luo Qing had already arranged the way he was going to take in the future? It would be a waste to eat devil fruit at such a young age. Think about when Luffy just ate the devil fruit, the whole thing was a stretchable noodle soup, let alone a fight, it would be nice to keep his arms from falling to the ground. Take a look at Sabo, who has been trained hard as an adult. Mastered a certain way of using the burned fruit as soon as he ate the burned fruit. So eating the devil fruit too early is not necessarily an advantage. The body is the root. It's too early, don't worry, as long as you can meet my expectations, teacher, I will definitely find you an absolutely powerful devil fruit. After all, Kirby is still just a child. Although I know Luo Qing is doing him good, but now that all the people in the boat are people with devil fruit ability except him, they will definitely feel uncomfortable. This temperament has to be polished. Luo Qing sighed. He admitted that he was not a good teacher, but he really hoped that Kirby could rise. Seems to have to think of a way. Just as Luo Qing was thinking about how to transform Kirby, Nami finally walked out of the bathroom. Everyone's eyes lit up, even Robin and Little Snowball. Nami is naturally beautiful and her skin is not bad, but after cleaning herself with her newly acquired ability, her skin suddenly becomes smooth and can be broken by blows, and the gap comes out. And there seems to be an inexplicable charm on the body. Chapter 99. It's too easy to crush you. Some envy. Seeing Robin and Xiao Xueqi directly surrounding them, eating Nami's tofu, Luo Qing also wanted to go and feel the smooth skin. Just thinking about the consequences, he still chose to give up. After a while, Nami also used her newly acquired ability to help Robin and Little Snowball start a spa to smooth the skin. The process is very sweet. Imagine a few beauties wearing close-fitting underwear, surrounded by numerous bubbles all over their bodies, some parts are still looming, and then there is an intoxicating blush on their faces. This is the rhythm of opening a beauty salon. In a sense, this ability is really amazing. Luo Qing really didn't dare to watch anymore. God knows how Nami will develop this bubble fruit in the future. Fortunately, he didn't expect Nami to become a combat member. Let her be happy. It's a feast for the eyes, isn't it? In a certain carriage of the sea train, Luo Qing is sitting alone in his seat while looking at the scenery outside the window while drinking a cup of hot coffee. A train that can fly across the sea. This black technology is something that has never appeared on the Earth, but it is easily realized in this world. Although it is the first time for Luo Qing to take a sea train, to be honest, it is not much different from taking a train on Earth, and it is far less comfortable than a high-speed train. However, the service inside is good, food and drinks are all available, and the price is not too expensive. What's more important is that the lady flight attendants are all online, and I have refilled him 7 times of coffee at this time, and I also received a small note. 3 sheets. Sure enough, there are advantages to being handsome. It's just that he has serious things to do when he comes out this time. This regret can only be made up when he comes back, but I don't know if he can meet these choppy young ladies when he comes back. Time is long, and I don't know how many hours have passed before the Judicial Island has finally arrived. Judicial Island was established by the world government. Because there is no night, day all year round, it is also called the island that never sleeps. There are only 2 places that can be reached after going out to the sea from the port of Judicial Island. One is the marine headquarters Marin Vander, and the other is the deep-sea prison that imprisons the world's all-wicked prisoners Advanced City, Imper. Pause. Luo Qing received very high-level attention as soon as he got out of the car. The guards riding on the police dogs, the first-level guards of the Judicial Island, the French dogs, were watching him. With the intelligence capabilities of the world government, knowing which sea train Luo Qing took and when he arrived at Judicial Island is no effort. It's just that they put on this posture to avenge Bruno. Or do you simply want to give him a chance? This is too mentally retarded. Luo Qing, but he killed the old sand of the original Chihuahua and seriously injured the Admiral Huang Yuan. Will he be frightened by this small battle? As long as he wants, he can wipe out all these French dog teams by just moving his fingers. And before he could move, he saw the mentally retarded Spandam come out from behind. Are you the pirate who destroyed our CP9 mission? It doesn't seem to be the case. Apart from a good face, I don't see any three-headed six arms. The superiors actually value you so much. Spandam is worthy of a standard villain's face, a mouth is stinking, and IQ is extremely low. Even his father is afraid to talk to him like that now. Didn't the 5 old stars ever think about changing to a normal person to take charge of CP9? Luo Qing has a calm face. It is estimated that he knew this kind of mentally handicapped behavior when he saw Spandam appearing on the field. Apart from this one, it is estimated that no one can think of it. Think about the fact that the Judicial Island, which has been standing for many years in the original work, was easily breached by the Straw Hats under his leadership, not to mention that he also activated the killing order and destroyed his hometown. What a mental retardation can describe. Luo Qing didn't bother to be familiar with him. If you don't want to die, just shut your stinky mouth for me, or I will kill you first, and then ask the 5 old stars how to discipline their subordinates. You. Spandam's face flushed with anger, and he was ready to order a lesson to him, but suddenly remembered the words his father had told him. Good, very good. Spandam blushed, but he didn't dare to say any more, because he didn't know what kind of deal the 5 old star had reached with the pirate in front of him. If something really happened, he might die for nothing. Died. He, a guy with abilities, methods, and brains that can't do anything, can become the chief of CP9 not because he has a good father. Without the backing, he is nothing. And if you offend the 5 old stars, it is estimated that even his dad will not be able to keep him, and he will even be implicated. He thought that the other party was just a pirate anyway, and he dared to be presumptuous when he came to Judicial Island, but he didn't expect the other party to be so tough. He took down this grudge. The warship is ready, come with me. While passing by the waiting French dog team, www.mtlnovel.com, Luo Qing casually said, "This is the permanent combat power of Judicial Island. But you. This is not only for the face of Judicial Island, but also for the face of Spandam." Spandam, who was walking in the front, immediately stopped and turned his head and said viciously to Luo Qing, "Don't think that you will feel invincible after defeating Luqi's trash. You want to crush to death with the power of the world government. You are like crushing an ant to death. Oh, I don't know if the world government can crush you to death, but at this moment, if I want to crush you, it is like crushing a chicken to death." Before Spandam could react, Luo Qing stretched out a hand to pinch his neck and held it high. "Don't move. Let go of Master Spandam. Go and inform." Surrounded by countless muskets, Luo Qing didn't care at all. He just quietly looked at Spandam, whose face turned from white to red and from red to purple. "No matter how weak Luqi is, it seems to be much stronger than your rubbish." Luo Qing easily squeezed the elephant sword coming from the attack, and then when Spandam was about to roll his eyes to shock, he threw him into the crowd and knocked down a group of people. "This weapon is quite interesting. It belongs to me. It is your apologize for offending me." With Luo Qing's force, the Shang's sword let out a mournful cry, and then honestly returned to the appearance of the sword and was carried by Luo Qing in his clothes. Ahem. Ahem. Shoot. Shoot me all. Kill him. I am responsible for what happened. Spandam, who has finally panted his breath, has been dazzled by anger. Chapter 100. Why do you want to pay it back? Stop it. Just as the sword was drawn, a clear voice suddenly came from behind. Don't worry about her, I'm the supreme officer here, kill this lawless pirate for me. Spandam saw that what he was talking about was Khalifa, who had returned after a failed mission, and suddenly rolled his eyes with anger. When is it her turn to speak here? But Khalifa, who appeared at this time, obviously didn't think so. Spandam, I am here to take over the appointment of faceless Luo Qing to Chihuahai by the order of the 5 old stars. I will report everything that happened just now to the adults. The thick threat is self-evident. Khalifa can be said to be the person present who most hoped Luo Qing would die, but because of the order she had to resolve this conflict. If she really wants to fight, can she bring food to the enemy with this little combat power? In any case, Luo Qing's becoming Chihuahai is a scene that the world government wants to see, so even his first hand cannot destroy the adults' plans. Spandam suddenly looked sluggish when he heard the words, Luo Qing, and saw him gritted his teeth harmoniously, and roared, all back. What a pity. Luo Qing moved his right hand and shook his head regretfully. He wanted to take this opportunity to test the attitude of the world government and the navy, but he didn't expect to be destroyed by the woman Khalifa. However, some clues can be seen from her performance. It seems that the world government is more pressing for him to become Chihuahua. Meet again. Khalifa, who is still dressed as an OL, came to Luo Qing and greeted lightly. Luo Qing deliberately lingered on the other party's beautiful legs and plumpness wrapped in black mesh for a while, and then said with a smile, it seems that the intelligence work of the world government really should not be underestimated. Even my hobbies and interests have been discovered. I've always had a bad sleep quality, so please at night. Insolent guy. Khalifa resisted the urge to kick the opponent into an idiot, and turned around to lead the way. Just when Luo Qing was smiling and preparing to leave with Khalifa, who was swaying her hips, Spandam said loudly, don't go. What else do you want to do? Khalifa's face is full of disgust. Return my weapon. That elephant sword is actually a sword that ate the fruit of the elephant, allowing the dead to eat. The devil fruit is one of the black technologies developed by Vegapunk. As the 5 scumbags of the war, Spandam relies on this elephant sword as a prestigious blessing. How could Luo Qing it away? Khalifa frowned and looked directly at Luo Qing, who had nothing to do. A pirate is a pirate, I only know how to take it. Facing Spandam's yin and yang strangeness, Luo Qing plucked his ears as if he hadn't heard them, and then uttered a ruinous answer. For the pirates, why should they pay back what they can grab? Nima. It makes sense at first glance. Spandam was about to vomit blood. Snap it. Luo Qing just twitched his fingers, and a palm transformed from yellow sand hit Spandam's face, knocking it a dozen meters away. Finally, I will give you a piece of advice. If you see me in the future, you'd better hide from a distance. Not every time you have such good luck. Luo Qing glanced at Khalifa without leaving a trace. I really wanted to start a while ago, none of these people here can survive. Let's go, the big guys are still waiting. Khalifa and Luo Qing left like this. Only half of his face was swollen into a bun. Spandam cursed silently there, and the vicious and spicy color in his eyes made people shudder. My lord, are you okay? Go away. Luo Qing followed Khalifa aboard the warship that had been prepared for a while and sailed towards the Navy headquarters Molenvander. The reason why he chose that style of behavior on Judicial Island was not simply because he hated Spandam's mental retardation, but because of this incident. If a small dogleg of the world government can ride on his head, then one can imagine how he will be treated when he becomes Chihuahua. He didn't have the time to run to the Navy headquarters in 2 days. What's more, this time Li Wei also tested the attitude of the world government, and also harvested a devil fruit by the way. Not only did it not lose, but it made a small profit. On the other side, the Navy headquarters also received all the news about Luo Qing on the Judicial Island, including his robbing of Spandam's saber and his unruly attitude. Really is a thorn. Do you want to leave the other party directly? The warring states period wanted to do this very much, but when he thought of the negative impact on the image of the Navy, he had to resist this impulse. If he really did this, no matter what reason the Navy came up with to deceive the world afterwards, it would be hard to be convincing. There is no impenetrable wall in the world. If you really leak the news and the world knows the truth, it will undoubtedly be a huge blow to the Navy's credibility. Reading www.uakanshu.com and the title of Chihuahua will also become a joke, and it will fall apart in an instant. Really does more harm than good. The warring states sighed helplessly. After thinking about it, it was the world government that would hinder the Navy the most. Is so ridiculous and sad. Arrived. The warship stopped at the port of Molenvander without a long rest period. I really came to the Navy headquarters and still alone. Luo Qing didn't have the mood to continue the verbal molestation of Khalifa. Devil fruit is not omnipotent. If there is a person who can restrain the fruit of the door, maybe he will really have no return. So you must be extremely cautious. The meeting will be held tomorrow morning, and the 2 rooms have been arranged. Come with me. This time, the person who came here is actually an acquaintance. It is the Navy headquarters Colonel Tina who was rubbed on the deck by Luo Qing. As the so-called enemies meet, they are extremely jealous. This is the Navy base camp. Naturally, Tina is not afraid of Luo Qing. I want to come too, except for the Golden Lion, a madman like Kaido, who would dare to make trouble in the Navy headquarters. Is your injury better? Luo Qing's smile almost made Tina run away. She didn't understand how the senior management would make such a notorious pirate become Chihuahua. Did the navies who died in battle just die in vain? But I can't figure it out. The first duty of a soldier is to obey orders, so even if Luo Qing is upset, she can only endure it, unless the other party does it first or she finds an excuse to do it. So Tina snorted coldly instead of picking up his stubble but turned and led the way. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories, and never miss out on a great listen.